A very good evening to all of you and a very warm welcome to the Economic Times Promising Brands 2021 with purpose, promise, and profits in mind. A brand for a company is like repetition for a person. You earn repetition by trying to do hard things well, as quoted by Jeff Bezos. As we look forward to an evening of really growing together, good branding is something that we all believe the most important thing when it comes to ensuring the success of your business. Relevance, differentiation, and growth, the three pillars of purpose that every brand would aim for in as many compelling ways as they are the difference between success and failure. A strong brand purpose sets out a company's intent to change the world for the better and connects with the consumers on a personal level. Brands, as you well know, are those that get attached, that are loved for what they are, for what they create. And this evening, we will be unveiling the Economic Times Promising Brands 2021 Coffee Table Book, which is a collection of brands which have shown the muscle to survive and thrive. As we look forward to this very special evening, I'd like to urge all our audience members to please share their thoughts with the world on their social media, and do remember to tag us using our hashtag #ETPromisingBrands. There's a lot happening right here, so please do stay tuned. We bring to you some fantastic success stories in just a bit. As we look forward to this spectacular evening, we'll be featuring brands that stand apart, brands that create a niche identity in the mind of consumers and enhance recall value. As we get all set, let us now bring to you our very special session from Taboo to talk of the town, Journey of Zivame. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Ms. Amisha Jain, Chief Executive Officer, Zivame.
Hi, I'm Amisha Jain, the CEO of Zivame, and I'm here to speak to you about Zivame's journey so far. I think it's been an incredible journey, intense, and we've done a lot of things along the way. As I speak to you, we are just completing our 10 years, and the last decade has been phenomenal. Our journey has been all about her, every single Indian woman. It's about walking alongside her, ensuring that we support her as she chooses to dream big, as she chooses to achieve what she desires. And in that journey, we've had some amazing consumers who supported us in building the brand. For example, our journey has been about Parul, who's 21 and from Pune and has just started her first job, and she picked up Zivame to ensure that as she puts on her Western clothes, a top and a trouser for the first time as she goes to office, she's looking for that confidence. And that's what our entire, motto has been, that what we've been after. Our journey has also been about supporting Suchitra, who's 53, who's just had a mastectomy and is looking to start afresh. She's looking for a bra that supports her to ensure that she doesn't have to remind herself every day that her body maybe looks a little bit different. Our journey has been about Rachna, who's busty. She's 28, and she always wondered how people are looking at her, and it's about that gaze that she doesn't want to attract. And she loves the minimizer that Zivame has for her. So it's been about these nuances. It's been about this the stories and these consumers, and we've realized that one step at a time, we've been able to change their lives. And as I look back on our 10 years, I think that's the joy and the pride we feel, that we've been able to impact people's lives. And there's an incredible set of people who work at Zivame who've been able to make this happen. A phenomenal team that actually does not believe that they're working at a company or they're building just a brand. For them, it's a cause. It's a cause of supporting every Indian woman. And our last 10 years, I wouldn't say have been absolutely peachy. We've learned, we've built, we've pivoted, and we've grown. And as we did that, we've only built a better and better platform for women. And today, as we talk here, our brand promise, our brand motto, and our mission is to make sure that we are part of every Indian woman's life. We're able to give her that right comfort and the support and the fit that she looks for. More importantly, today, for a few women, owning a bra is a commodity, but for many, it is a luxury. And that's what we are after, wanting to make sure that we're there in every single wardrobe. And we give her that comfort. We give her, what she seeks. As I think through the 10 years, the one thing that comes to mind is the From To, and the many industry firsts that we've been able to achieve in this category. While building the brand, we've also built the category. And as category leaders, we've been able to achieve a lot of firsts. The four that come to mind are: one, and the biggest one, I'd say, is the D2C platform that we've built. It's a direct-to-consumer platform. It's a platform about her where she can choose to shop, she can choose to explore, discover things that she doesn't know, right? Build her awareness, learn about products that may be right for her. And on this platform, she can uninhibitedly look for something that she may have otherwise not even thought of even exploring. For example, a woman who's a 36B, it would be hard for her to go to a store or to an outlet, or to a small outlet where she's talking to a person on the other side and saying that, give me something that's a little fashionable, give me something in lace, give me something that doesn't show my bulges. And she's worried that she's getting judged at this point. And so our platform is all about that, right? Our platform is about giving her that comfort of not being judged, giving her that comfort of being able to really browse in her own space. It's about a phenomenal platform that is also built around this whole philosophy of being able to give people the right fit. And Zivame is all about fit. Our fit code technology has allowed women to really figure out their sizes without having to even measure themselves. And I think that's a game-changing thing for the country, right? I mean, how many times have we gone and looked for a measuring tape and been able to find it, first of all, in the right place? But second, go through this whole process. And by the way, where you measure yourself changes your size completely. And I think starting from that root, starting from that fundamental thing of how do we make sure she finds her right fit, because without fit, she's not going to find comfort. These two things go hand in hand. And that is what this platform gives. And I'd say that has been one of the biggest firsts and a game changer in this space. The second big thing that comes to mind is the brand and the merchandise. And, I'd probably take you back about 10 years. And if you were to go out to the stores at that time, you'd find a black and a white. And for a color, you'd find nude. And, how much does that inspire you to buy? And here the industry was in this vicious cycle of women only buying so much because, when you give them something which looks commodity, which is commodity, they don't choose to buy more. It's not solving for their needs. I mean, why am I going to buy a same simple black t-shirt every single day, day after day? It doesn't do much for me. And same thing is true for a black bra. And I think that's where our journey started in innovation. We are grounded in innovation, predominantly to make sure that we're able to give her that variety she seeks, give her the right comfort, give her the right fit. And some of the latest innovations that we've been able to bring to the market are, the copper infused bras, right, which allow you to actually lead a more healthier life in terms of making sure that, copper is really good for diffusing some of the viruses, bacteria, etc. And it enables, again, to gives her a way to keep herself healthy. And that's just one thing, right? We've brought many different innovations to the market. For example, our sari shapewear, which is now a roar in the market, or whether it's a shaping bra, which not just does just doesn't do the function of a bra, but also allows her to sort of shape her body. And so, very, very grounded in innovation. But I wouldn't sort of take it all the way to innovation. I think a fundamental thing that we changed in the market was a learning that we had from our own platform when we were a marketplace, that what most players were selling was the same product in limited sizes, and there wasn't much variety. And we took that and turned it on its head and said, you know what? Indian women come in all sizes, and we're going to make sure we all offer them the entire gamut. And it might need us to build about 40-45 sizes in a particular color or a style. And we chose to do that. Rather than saying that she gets a limited sort of product, we said, okay, how do we solve for it? So we brought color, we brought variety. And in about 3 years of our launch, I remember, some of the data showed that we were known for color. We were known for fashionable bras. And so I think that kind of started changing the industry. And that's where I say that, we've been not just about building a brand. Our journey has been also about building the category, and the category is now in a very, very different place. We saw a lot of players entering the market, which is a great sign. We saw a few that have kind of also done well along the way. I think a lot has to be still done in this space. Being the market leaders, now the number one brand in the market, I feel our job is not done. We have a lot more to do in terms of product and merchandise and grow the brand from here. So I think the second big thing, which has been a great story for Zivame, has been predominantly the brand, the merchandise. I think the third one that comes to mind is the sheer ability to speak about the category. I remember conversations that we had internally where we've had instances where a lot of people, when we speak to and use the word bra, and they would cringe a little bit. And to the extent that you can see it in their body language. And it has nothing to do with an individual. I think it has a lot to do with how the category is seen, overall, right? Our social context. We've spoken about bras and hush tones. We've hidden them under towels. And what else will you get, right? You will end up not speaking about it. So along the way, because it was spoken in hushed tones, there was lots of superstition that has been built around it. For instance, a black bra causes cancer, or wires may lead to cancer. So there have been a lot of things that have been built around it, and which is very true, right? When you don't have an open dialogue about something, it leads to a lot of conversation in hushed voices. Things get passed on, things get misconstrued, which is what has happened with this category. So I think a third biggest impact I feel, has been about building conversations, opening up that dialogue. And our platform has done wonders around it as well. The platform has all been about open feedback and reviews. So today our consumer actually gives reviews on every product as and when they choose. We don't prompt them. We don't tell them when and what they're supposed to do. But I think she does it because she realizes that she has found it so difficult to find the right product. When she finds something, when she loves something, or she doesn't like it also, she makes it a point to put a feedback on the platform. So the platforms become a sisterhood of sorts. And I think a lot has to do with the way we've opened up dialogue. So when I think of 10 years to now, in that journey, the communication has changed. The way people think about it has changed. The way people talk about it has changed. And women are coming forward to actually express themselves and talk about that this works for me and this doesn't work for me, which I think is phenomenal, because that's where you start pushing people, companies, brands to really start delivering better for you, right? As the consumer pushes us, we do better for them. Our communication has been quite a lot about speaking to the real women. We're speaking to our consumers and having them talk about us. So while we work with a lot of influencers, our work is actually through 1,000+ micro influencers. And these are organically built, and a lot of them are women who are passionate about the brand. And it's amazing to see some of the stories that come through as well. So I think that's been the third biggest game-changing thing that Zivame has brought to the market, which is just the sheer awareness about the category. And talking about awareness, I think every single thing that we've done, right from starting in the early days, from Salesman Wali Bra to launching a campaign around Fit for All, which is Zivame is Fit for All, whether you're petite or big, Zivame is Fit for All. Whether it is about pair it right, we realized a core insight was that women were shifting in their attire, adopting a lot of Western attire, doing a lot of fusion attire, but their understanding of how to pair it with the right intimate wear didn't exist, because again, there wasn't any conversation around it. And so we took it upon ourselves and we launched a campaign around pair it right. How do you pair, let's say, a halter top with what is the right bra to pair it with, right? Which kind of took off really well. And most recently, and my favorite is Dekho Maine Kya Kiya. And it touches the very core. It hits the nail on the head, I feel, in terms of how we see ourselves, how we see our job, how we see what we do for an Indian woman, what we do for her, how do we see us impacting or changing her life or influencing her life, right? And it's that joy and the liberation that she feels that comes across in the film is quite phenomenal. So I'll kind of stop there and talk about that's number 3. I think that's one of the largest things that we've been able to sort of build in the market. And as we have been on this journey, the one thing that has made Zivame special for me is the love that we get from consumers across India. While you're a marketplace, you're catering to the entire country, you're catering to more than 2,000 towns or 20,000 pin codes, but these are just numbers. But it's about when you are able to reach the smallest of towns, and you hear from like a Kalyani, or you hear from women in Raipur, you hear from feedback from these women. That's when it kind of it all comes together, because you realize that you're making impact at every step of the way. And most recently in our Grand Lingerie Festival, we were able to break a lot of boundaries. I think the brand did exceptionally well, selling more than 100 units a minute. We catered to the smallest of towns. We've been able to sell a tummy tucker panty or a sari shapewear, which at times people think of them as very evolved products. We've been able to sell them in the smallest of towns. And I think that is the biggest win I feel in the journey of Zivame. It's all about her. It's about you and me. It's about changing the life of every Indian woman. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much for listening. And I hope you've had an opportunity to explore Zivame or Zivame.com. Check it out. I hope you will find something for yourself or your family. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Jain, for sharing with us your journey, how Team Zivame is really progressing, how they're making sure that you deliver to the biggest cities, to the smallest towns, and it's all about her focusing on women, creating a change in their lives, giving them a lot more confidence. So once again, we thank you for sharing your success story with us. And that is all about creating a brand, creating that special feel with your consumers. We'll be discussing many more success stories right here on this very interactive digital platform. So please do stay tuned, because coming up next is a very interesting chat and a story about how one can really build a personalized tech-enabled chai brand. All this in just a bit. all about celebrating brands that are innovative, that have left a lasting imprint on minds of their consumers. A lot more thanks to our next speaker, Chayos, building a personalized tech-enabled chai brand. We'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Raghav Verma, co-founder Chayos. Let's listen in.
Hi everyone, I'm Raghav Verma, co-founder of Chayos. We run Chayos, which is a chai cafe chain. We have 100 cafes across Delhi, NCR, Bombay, Bangalore, and Chandigarh. And I'm here to just talk about the journey from where we started out to where we are today. So the idea of Chayos started out in 2012, where we asked ourselves that question, that how is it possible that in a chai drinking country, when you step outside your house, there is literally no place that you can go to get a great cup of chai. And it was such an obvious thought that how can there be 2,000 coffee cafes while there's no good place to get a cup of chai, when the consumption of chai to coffee is 30:1 in the country. And there we set out, trying to create a behavior, trying to give all the chai lovers in the country a great place to get a cup of chai. And at that point of time, we used to hear from everybody, all the industry experts, everyone we spoke to, everyone said that, chai is such a commodity. Chai is something which is available in your home. It is available in your at the local tapri. It's available for free in the office. Why would anybody go out and get a cup of chai? Why would anybody get a cup of chai? Why would anybody pay money for it, right? And we heard over and over that coffee is cool. There's people want to hang out. People want to hang out and go for coffee dates. But chai is just something that you have in your home. But something that we deep down knew, the kind of passion, the kind of craziness that is there for every Indian starts their day with chai. On a cold morning or on a rainy morning, you want your cup of adrak chai, right? So for us, it was just about how do you take that that product which is so loved and which is so accessible and which is so frequently consumed. It is literally a daily consumption product, and there are very few such products, right? Roti, rice, water, chai. These are few products that nearly everyone in our country consumes on a daily basis, and that too multiple times a day. So we made it our vision that how do we serve India its daily 2 cups of chai. And of course got to hear from everybody that yaar ye to kabhi nahi chal sakta. It was across the board. So we started out our journey from Cyber City in Gurgaon. That was our first cafe, and the idea was very simple. We gave ourselves 6 months. Me and my co-founder Nitin, we wanted to start in a setting where we could actually see. We had a captive base of customers. We had about 3,000 people who were coming to that building to work every day, and the initial signs were extremely encouraging. We ended up seeing the same customers in the building coming to us 3 to 4 times in the same day. There was a popular coffee chain that used to run in the same building before, which used to do about 20,000 odd of sale per day. Their sale went down to 5,000. We started to do 30,000 per day, and for us that was just a validation that this is something that customers really want. And at that point of time, we started to hear from again, be it investors or be it industry experts, that yaar office mein to chalna hi tha. There's a latent demand there. But when this goes on to a high street or into a mall format, it is definitely going to struggle. So next step was to prove to ourselves and to prove to the world that this is something that can be scaled up to wherever chai is being consumed in the country. So we then ended up opening a store in Galleria Market, and that one went to 2 to 3 stores, went to 10 stores, uh, opening in malls, opening in high streets, and the response, frankly, was overwhelming at that point in time as well. And we ended up getting an extremely warm response from our customers. One of the one of the very interesting things that we saw from the customer behavior was that the customer behavior, those who became sticky with the brand, we ended up seeing very high repeat frequency from them. So even today, our customers who repeat with us, they come to us 3.8 times in a month, which is a crazy frequency for any consumer brand. So the idea was that how do you become more and more available, because chai by itself is a very impulse product. It's not something that you would travel a lot for. So for example, if I want to get a great cup of chai and I need to get into my car and I need to drive an hour for it, I'm probably not going to drive for that 1 hour. I will make do with whatever chai is available, maybe 5-10 minutes away from me. So that's how the game started. That how do you be available at any of those formats, any of those locations, wherever that cup of chai is being consumed. So uh, that led to multiple business parks. We opened in malls, metro stations, highways, colleges, food courts, anywhere where there's an opportunity for a customer to consume a cup of chai. And that might not be the primary reason why they are coming to that location, but that's a place where they want their favorite chai. And so we've scaled up from there to 100 cafes today, and 100 cafes across wide variety of formats, uh, in the cities we are in. And the good part is that we figured out how those unit economics for each of those formats works for us, and that makes the idea of Chayos much more scalable, uh, much more easy to take to other cities, to further penetrate into existing cities. During this journey, one thing that we've kept as the core is the power of the product and what it actually means for customers in the country. So in our initial days, we came upon this concept of, we looked at other places that were trying to do chai, trying to create different kind of concepts around chai. Most people were either doing the standard kiosk takeaway format, which was kind of upgrading the chai tapri consumer. And then there were those who were doing the very high end tea rooms, who were serving the South African and the Chinese teas. We realized that our menu had to have the way that people consume their chai at home, which is very, very customized, very personalized. We realized that has to be one of the cores of Chayos, and we call that as Meri Wali Chai. So at Chayos, you can create your Meri Wali chai in over 80,000 ways. So you can choose from 12 add-ons, like adrak, tulsi, elaichi, masala, saunf, and some crazy ones like hari mirch. And you can vary the milk level, so you can have an extra milk chai, full doodh chai, doodh kam chai. You can make your chai kadak. You can get it with sugar, without sugar. So essentially, what we did with this was that we were able to really cater to the personalized preferences of chai drinkers in the country, so that when you step outside your home, you're not really making a compromise from the product point of view. The other interesting thing we did was that we created a very strong food snacky menu along with the chai, which is again exactly how chai is consumed in the country. You always end up having some kind of food with it. You would have a poha, you would have a rusk or a cookie or a bun maska or a vada pav, or when it's raining, you want your pakode with your chai. So so that was the whole idea of how do you stay true to chai culture, and how do you make sure that the experience that you're offering is not a compromised experience out of home, but much more elevated experience of the way that you've been consuming that chai in at home and at tapris. So that's how we went about the journey. Something that we've been very conscious about, and you know, that's been a core part of the offering for Chayos, is how we've tried to create that entire amazing chai experience for customers. So a big part of that has been, you know, how is how do you create that warmth and that service level, because you have customers who are coming in so frequently, you know, 3 to 4 times in a month is a very high frequency. So how can our team actually, you know, remember those guests names, remember their preferences, create a personal connect, and how do we train our teams to be able to create that personal respect, which is there between them and the guests. This warmth also comes out from the way that we create our cafes. So very rustic, bright, warm setting. It's a space where you feel comfortable, you feel relaxed, you feel at home. uh, Goes very well with the product that we're serving. uh, the personalization I already spoke about. It's a the core offering is that every chai experience is personalized for you, which is why, you know, every cafe that we create is also very different. Every cafe has a unique interior. So, you know, even when there is a high repeat, you might have a different Chayos experience that you get to do at every cafe that you visit. So that's something that we've done. We've tried to continuously innovate on the products that go with chai. So from doing things like thepla tacos uh, to innovated on a loaded open paratha, which is like a Malabar paratha topped with cheese and filling. Uh, to doing very kind of interesting chais like a gud wali chai and a hari mirch chai and aam papad chai. And at the same time, from that customer experience, we've tried to create an experience that's extremely seamless, that's extremely fast. We've really tried to get technology to be able to connect that great personalized, seamless, fast customer experience. Uh, we realized early during our journey that since Meri Wali Chai is the core of what we do, it's extremely important for us to be able to serve that right, consistent, standardized Meri Wali chai across any location our customers go to. So, for example, if there's a customer who works in Noida but lives in Delhi, any of the cafes that they actually end up visiting, they should be able to get that same great, consistent cup of chai. And to be able to enable that, uh, we actually built out an entire hardware and software technology team uh, to create a patented chai monk, which is a chai robot. And we've basically scaled this up to all our cafes now. It actually took us about 3 years to be able to create a fresh boiled chai machine. And this basically creates all those cups of chai that our customers want to have at the cafes. So that's something that has really helped us to scale our personalization and to scale the consistency of the chais that we make. And this is basically an automation of that entire handmade chai process that used to be followed at our cafes before, except we just made that into an IoT enabled chai robot. So it's definitely technology has definitely helped us to be able to deliver those amazing customer chai experiences for our guests. uh, Other things that we've done, so all the technology at Chayos is developed in house. We've seamlessly integrated all of the online and offline experiences for our customers, be it suggesting the right products or be it integrating our loyalty program. We are one of the first brands to introduce facial recognition. So at our cafes, you uh, don't need to actually sign in for a loyalty program. It will just recognize your face, and it's basically a 3-second process to be able to just access your loyalty program. Uh, Alongside that, we were also able to create our contactless app, and we were one of the first companies to actually do that. Viraj, let's take a 1-second break. So while it's been a very, very exciting journey to get to 100 cafes, we are just starting out on our vision of serving every Indian their daily 2 cups of chai, and how we're doing it is by being present on say delivery platforms like Zomato and Swiggy, where we deliver hot chai. We've also integrated our e-commerce platforms, so that people who want to order their ready to make chai or their green teas for home, all of that is integrated. Along with the cafe experience, we're also trying to figure out how do we get into offices. So the overall intent is to be at that arm's length of desire, and that's a journey that we're on. And a big thank you to all our customers for the constant love that they've shown to us, and hope to keep receiving that love from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Verma. And here's wishing you and the entire team at Chaios all the very best. Thank you for sharing with us how you've taken personalization to an all-new level with your handmade chais. And you actually made it IoT-enabled chai robot possible. And like you mentioned, that all the technology that you undertake has been built and thought in-house. What better than this, that creating these beautiful customer experiences around the perfect cup of tea and just the way they like it. So once again, I'd like to thank you for sharing all that you have been doing at Chaios, your journey with us. It's been a pleasure listening to all of it. And I'm sure it's a learning experience of how to really create the brand in the minds of people and how to make people loyal to your brand. So once again, I'd like to inform all our audience members that we have a lot of excitement in store for you this evening, but do share what you're thinking with the world on your social media. Head to Twitter, to Instagram, to Facebook, and do remember to tag us using our hashtag #ETPromisingBrands as we get set for a very candid conversation on laying the foundation of branding for 2021, where our panelists will be discussing a lot about the ideas and the innovation and how they go hand in hand and touch the heart of consumers, how over the years one can really keep those consumers intact, how building trust is so very important. All this and more in just a bit, so do stay tuned. We now bring to you our much awaited panelists right here in a very candid conversation on laying the foundation of branding for 2021, customer-centric, human-oriented, empathetic. So a lot about how we can go on and building trust, really centering those relationships, customized products, grabbing the attention of our customers, all this and more from our experts on the panel right here. So let us look forward to learning from their experiences, all that they've created with their brands and so much more. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Sriram Padmanabhan, Vice President Marketing, Nissan Motor India. A very warm welcome to Mr. Pankaj Singh Parihar, Vice President and Head Digital and Digital Transformation, Godrej Consumer Products. Let me also present you Mr. Amit Sethia, Head of Marketing, Syska Group. And moderating this very interesting conversation is going to be Mr. Partho Dasgupta, Management and Strategy Consultant, Consumer Technology and Deep Analytics. A round of applause for all of them right here from our audience. Once again, may I now hand over to Mr. Dasgupta.
Good afternoon, Nisha. This is a very warm welcome to each one of you here. I think we have a wonderful panel of CMOs out here. The topic is already given. I will just let me just reiterate for the sake of clarity for everyone. It says laying the foundation for branding for 2021. The customer-centric, human-oriented, and empathetic means of branding effectively. So, I was just thinking about this, and I think it's a very, very interesting and topical item at this point of time, especially for the kind of discussions that are happening here. The media is definitely, I think, post-COVID and even before COVID per se, the media is definitely changing in the environment around us. Society is changing, the societal trends are changing, and hence how people's experiences are changing a lot, and how people interact with media is also changing a lot. And similarly, a lot of social habits are changing, right? With this perspective, the way you communicate, whether it be the kind of, say, 30-second ads becoming a 6-second ads, or the way you communicate in terms of the medium that you use, or the way you communicate in terms of the kind of empathetic values that you bring into each communication, it's going to be a huge change, and we are already seeing the kind of changes that are happening. We will talk about all this, and I think we have a tremendous, exciting panel here. So we will talk about all this, and may I start with, if I can request Pankaj to give us the sectoral in terms of the FMCG, CPG product perspective. Yeah, we will try to limit ourselves to about 6 to 7 minutes, each one of us here, so that we have time for questions and some interactivity, right? Pankaj, over to you.
Thanks, Partho. Hi, everyone. So, looking at CPG and especially talking about customization and ensuring that you have direct connect with consumers, it was always the case that CPG industries were talking about communication at scale, but that scale used to be at a either pan-India level or either Northwest level in that sense. But as and when consumers are evolving, if you look at it, I mean, if you're not talking about personalization at scale, then you're not talking about thinking of consumers at the heart of your communication. And like we say that it needs to be an audience first approach rather than, or like I call it, that needs to be consumer in approach rather than brand out approach. Yeah, I mean, I need to think from the consumer's lens, and if that is the approach, if I'm taking, then you are talking about what consumer is thinking, what she's wanting from from the communication, what kind of communication she is expecting, and hence personalization at scale is what one big thing, which one big theme I am going to talk about it. And we have been investing a lot behind it for last couple of years, and it's not just one size fits all. We are talking about as micro as a particular city and as micro as a
small dialect, and if I can talk about cultural nuance there, and my communication is being there in that sense, I am talking about more personalized, more human, more connectable, and at the same time, the context where my consumer is in, I'm able to, throw some light there. So that's the broad spectrum of things you would, look at it from the CPG industry point of view. And, a lot is being said about deep analytics, and analytics and data is helping brands and marketeers and business owners to do all these things at scale.
Correct. Would you like to give some examples of what kind of shifts are you going through, say, for example, in this 2021 period from a Godrej point of view, say?
Right. So Partho, like I was talking about, investing a lot behind not just, how we look at communication in a different way. And we have seen it in the last 2 years specifically. And thankfully, our journey has been much, our journey of this whole transition and transformation started much, much before than the unfortunate event of COVID hit us. So the journey has been really much before that. And we're talking about getting into, more focused approach. Let me talk about an example wherein, we were ready on our direct to consumer offering for our users much before the pandemic hit us. And that has given us a lot of understanding about the consumer. And just to iterate one particular example, one of our brands, we were, it's a male grooming brand and it's a personal care brand. And there, when we launched the direct to consumer destination, we could clearly see that one particular ingredient was being searched a lot on the destination where we did not have a presence on. Yeah, that actually gave us an understanding that if people are searching for, that ingredient, and I'm talking about charcoal in male grooming category, and if I was not able to cater to that, it was not, and that was the highest search term on my direct to consumer destination, and we did not have an offering. And I'm talking about all of this in early part of pandemic, and we realized that this is one important ingredient with male category users are searching for. We immediately got into the huddle. We spoke with our R&D teams. We came about launching the charcoal product, which is face wash and bathing soap. All of that happened in a span of 6 weeks, which was practically, in CPG category, an NPD cycle is anywhere between 12 to 18 months. And we are talking about, getting the understanding from consumer and getting into R&D and then launching it, all of it in six to 8 weeks. Surprisingly, and honestly surprisingly, more than 40% of our first batch of the product got sold in first week of launch. And versus whatever the other top category products which were there on the website, it just overshot all our expectations. So if you look at it, that is the kind of work one can do if you are actually keeping the tab on the consumer.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. Amit, you come from a very different sector. Could we hear your insights and what has been your experience?
So, hello everyone. I fundamentally agree with what Pankaj mentioned about, but before I start adding my bit to this conversation, Partho, you mentioned about as to how media is changing, how society is changing, and I think how do you mitigate the risk? I think that's broadly the objective that we are also dealing with, right? So I think as far as the risks are concerned, it needs to be dealt at every level, I would say. And more so from the Syska perspective, because it's a very diversified brand today, the FMEG brand, the fast moving electrical goods. And I think the very fact that because we diversified into various categories, I think that really helped us to, first of all, mitigate the very risk that was like the big thing last year, right? So while my, some of the categories were down right from LED and wires and cables, etc. But at the same time, personal care appliances, as Pankaj was talking about, the grooming basically category, the mobile accessories, and even the smart home category was like picking up the, the most amazing speed which we never witnessed in the last couple of years, actually. So, that is what actually helped us to sail through the turbulence, safely, I would say. It was also about utilizing the technology in a way that was never thought before. So example, if I have to talk about, say, LED, the technology was always about illumination. But, the last year we saw as to how we can use this technology to not only illuminate, but also to go ahead with disinfection, capabilities. So I think that was also one of the reasons because of which people were exploring these products, but with a new approach. And last but not the least, because yes, it is about marketing, it is about ever demanding customers. I think what we have started successfully doing is trying to map the entire customer journey across the various, verticals. Because ultimately, if I'm able to have an engagement and a conversation in one category, so example, if there is a younger audience talking to me in personal care, my idea is with the help of technological tools that I have, can I have this customer across the entire gamut of my operations? Because I know today, if he's a personal care customer, tomorrow he's going to be a LED customer, and day after tomorrow he's going to be a wires customer for sure. So I think for us, it has been great amount of investment in ensuring that this entire customer journey is mapped across all the verticals, so that we are able to actually go out and create sharper marketing programs.
Great. So say if I look back at 2018 and 2021 now, are there any marked changes in communication or your channels, the way you reach the consumer? Are there any big changes in any of these?
I won't say thankfully not, because we have this whole problem of becoming transactional, which we don't realize, and then suddenly when there is a situation out there, we think that, oh, now what to do? So I think as a brand, Syska has always been, beyond being transactional, because we have never spoken about discount and ek pay ek free wala proposition. It was always about, what exactly this brand is giving to you. It's about saving. It's about, larger than life picture right now. So I think that's something that helped us to, continue the same conversation, But yes, the role of digital has increased. I will not deny that. The role of digital has increased. The traffic that we are witnessing on D2C is like 4 to 5 times what it was actually before COVID. And so many other aspects are opening up. And thankfully for marketing channels, right, from the use of smart wearables, the role of voice is actually increasing. So we are also exploring the newer avenues in terms of voice search and related aspects.
Correct. Can we request Sriram to share your experience and journey? Sriram, again, a new category, a new sector.
Yeah, very, very different sectors to both Pankaj's and Amit's sector, right? We talk about words like customer-centric, human-oriented, empathetic, right? You look at a very high engagement product. Now, our purchase is a very high engagement purchase, right? People spend a lot of time before they buy an automotive. They take a lot of time. They take a lot of experiences from their friends, their relatives. They look at a lot of third-party conversations. They are highly, engaged in the way they decide which vehicle to buy and which particular model and variant to actually put their money on, because they're going to use it for the next 3 years. Unlike my friends Pankaj and Amit's products. So it's critical for us to have a design philosophy which has to be human oriented right from the way we define our product, because that defines the value that they get out of the product. When we communicate the product, we've got to be extremely centric around where the customer is in the journey of how they are in the purchase funnel, right? Because that's changed significantly. I think, Partho, you asked the question, 2017, 2015 to today, it's a different world in terms of how a car purchase happens. Earlier, we used to walk down the Automart, go from one dealer to the other, and then say, I like this better. And depending on how well the consultant is able to convince you, you're able to kind of make a purchase. But now everything is digital. Nissan is now among the, I guess, better manufacturers in terms of how we have been able to define our digital journey, right from looking at a car, looking at colors, adding more personalized accessories, getting finance approvals, understanding the value of the exchange car, of the used cars, and then finally booking it, and also asking for delivery at home, servicing at home. Now we have actually a digital concierge that we just recently launched, where a person could actually walk you through the car and their various choices at the benefit of your home. We call it shop at home. So definitely, human-oriented designing and the design philosophy, the customer centricity of how we are approaching the customer has evolved significantly. We are finding that investment in these areas is going to pay high dividends for us, especially in the long term. Conversions of our funds in these investments is much higher to what it was 2.5, 3 years ago. Our digital conversions are higher. Customers are walking into our showrooms after having spent enough time. So even our training methodology to our consultants is different. And I define it by effectively, 4 things. We call it do the gemba, right? In Japanese, it's basically walking the floor. So understanding how a customer is changing their behavior at the dealership or on the digital journey. So much data. Pankaj talked about data analytics. We have so much data that is sitting in our configurator, as we call it, the car configurator, where we know the customer is clicking here and there. We have information to actually define our journey in a customer-centric manner. Then we talk about how do we connect with them at a different medium, at the medium that they want. And when we talk about digital medium and TV and print, there is a lot of science to which part of medium do I use to connect with them, at what point of time, with what creative messaging. We call it dynamic creative optimization. We look at the right messaging at the right time to the right customer. That's all driven around customer centricity. I guess the important element is empathy, right? Empathy is a widely used term. And I'll actually take you through an example of that. And if I ask the technical team to show you something that we did just recently during the wave 2 of COVID, where we believe that we should try and step away from selling a car. We should focus on the relevance of the current elements of what's happening in the business. And we should try and connect with people and not be something that is preachy or something where we are trying to leverage selling our product. So I would just like to share a quick campaign that we just did with someone that we all love and know very well, Shri Kapil Dev Padma Bhushan, who agreed to work with us to narrate and actually help us convey the message of staying safe during COVID. And that I feel is a very strong element of empathetic behavior. I'll just play a couple of videos. We had a series of 7 videos. If that's okay, I'll just play that now.
Sure.
मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में कई खतरनाक बाउंसर्स का सामना किया है, पर ये सबसे खतरनाक है और हम सब इसका सामना कर रहे हैं। जब मैं बैटिंग के लिए उतरता हूँ, I wear a helmet ताकि मुझे कोई इंजरी ना हो। बिल्कुल वैसे ही ये मास्क आपको कोरोना वायरस से बचाता है। हेलमेट डालने के साथ ही मैं कॉन्फिडेंस से गेंद को बाउंड्री के बाहर मार सकता हूँ। अपना मास्क सही पहनिए और कोरोना को अपने देश से नहीं, दुनिया की बाउंड्री से बाहर फेंक डालिए।
Just play one more, just to get a sense of
दुनिया के खतरनाक तेज गेंदबाजों का सामना करने के लिए हमें घंटों नेट प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ती है, क्योंकि जितनी ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस उतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग तैयारी और उतना ही अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस। इस खतरनाक कोरोना के सामने हमें मैच में भी यही करना होगा। हम सबको वैक्सीन लेकर अपने अंदर एंटीबॉडीज को तैयार करना होगा, ताकि जब भी वायरस का अटैक हो तो हमारी एंटीबॉडीज उसको वहीं फिनिश कर दे। ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग वैक्सीनेशन लें, उतना ही फायदा, उतनी ही स्ट्रॉन्ग तैयारी और उतनी ही जल्दी कोरोना की हार।
That's it. If you can take it off. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that video. I think the important thing for me was, I guess, 4 things. One, understanding what's happening on the ground, do the Gemba, ensuring that we are listening to the customer in whatever way they want to communicate with us, whether it's data that we receive from various platforms, our own platforms, the dealership, listen to people, listen to the data that is telling us how to communicate. What mediums do we choose? Our digital spend was significantly lower 3 years ago, maybe 5%, now it's 30%. So what is the way in which we communicate to them? And then the most important is, what do we communicate? In a different, it's like horses for courses. So different messaging will need different communication. And that's where empathy comes in, right? I mean, it's about which part of the journey is the customer in. Am I looking at future audiences? Am I looking at near market audiences who are in the market to buy a car where I need to be more direct? Or am I looking at people who are fence sitters who have already decided which brand to buy, but I just want to kind of get them over? And I guess last is, feel the need to grow with your stakeholders. The important thing is the way we actually build our campaign is ensure that we take our dealers, our employees, and our customers along with the journey that our brand is going. And that's what we've done, when we launched the Nissan Magnite 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. We define a process within the COVID times to make sure that we are constantly in touch with the customers. Even now we have a high booking, but we have a method where we can tell the customers when the car will be available and track my car on our website. Connection with the customer is critical. It's not about just the tone, but it's also the way in which we push the message. So overall, I guess the first question you asked, is it changing? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it more human oriented, human design, customer centric? Definitely. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah. Thank you. That was quite enlightening. Pankaj, would you like to shed some, because you deal with CPG, fast moving, which comes into people's homes every other day, those kind of goods. Are you seeing empathy getting into your communication in any way? How is it changing because of the current times you are bringing some extra element of empathy in the communication, or is it more cognitive in nature? I think your voice is muted.
Sorry. No, I was saying absolutely, Partho. I mean, see, communication is evolving. Shriram gave brilliant examples of how they are using it in their space. Now, if you look at it from our point of view, and especially CPG and the kind of categories we play in, one of the bigger categories is, personal hygiene for us. And this time, last 18 months have been really, really, for personal hygiene category has been one of the watershed moment in that sense. Sure. It's an unfortunate one, but how people have started adopting personal hygiene has, catapulted. It would have taken hundreds of years for people to, come to a stage where we have reached now of a personal hygiene. Now, even before pandemic hit and lockdown hit us, in mid-March, we had this campaign which was not promoting the brand or the category. We were talking about Protect India it was a movement which we created. We called it Protect India Movement. This was done in end of January 2020, when we realized that something at a global scale is happening, and hand washing is becoming a critical component to fight against this unknown fear. And that campaign got conceptualized and thought behind not to promote a particular product, which is a bigger category for us, and it's an important one. But the entire communication was about how do we, ensure that we are ensuring that our consumers are changing the habit of hand washing. And this was January 2020. We are talking about, effectively March 2020 is when, people started realizing it. So that's when we started doing it. So what I'm trying to communicate is that, we picked up this, fear in human mindset, and we realized that we have a great role to play in this whole scheme of thing. And what better way to do that than talk about Protect India movement and talk about hand washing as a subject and ensuring that people are getting aware of. And we really went all out about doing this. We partnered with BMC, we partnered with multiple ministries, we partnered with a lot of channel media publication houses, and we were all out on digital communication targeting respective TGs. So is the communication becoming human? 200%, like Sriram mentioned. And are the brands taking part in it? I mean, I think there is no other way, Partho. If you're not taking part in that, you will be left behind. I mean, we keep talking about that, millennial generation and Gen Z are very fickle-minded and they are not, but at the same time, they're also very conscious about what brands and companies are doing about the climate, what they are doing about planet Earth. So at the same time, they are not really brand loyalist, but they will be brand loyalist if you're talking, if you have purpose, if you are taking care of the environment, and if you have communication which is making sense, which is more human.
Right. We have some rush on time. So Amit, I mean, what has been your perspective on this? We were talking about empathy during these times. I mean, have you been seeing from your brands something coming out for the consumers where you also use empathy as a route or actually show that in the communication?
So I think the only thing I want to add here is, from the perspective of personal grooming, because that is what I think Pankaj mentioned as well, Yeah. So for us, when we are looking at the grooming, the perspective is about the grooming appliances, because a lot of people were going online, having digital meetings, but in the market, your salons and parlors were shut because of the very fact, right, that there is a pandemic out there. So the moment government announced that, your personal grooming appliances are a part of semi-essentials, we were like very agile in that sense to ensure that all the products were actually available across the entire medical outlets that you have, in the country, which was never a part of the distribution earlier, actually. So that was something that we did immediately because government was supporting the fact that, you need to be at home and not out, actually. That is one. And second, in terms of communication, I would say that, I think beyond a brand, you need to think that, okay, what can you do, to really go out and help the customer. So I think in life, we have the situation that we all, fancy of, having these, gadgets, in the house. But, when it comes about the usage, maybe we are not aware about as to how to use that, the product the right way. And that's exactly that happened with grooming appliances. So what we did was we actually came out with a lot of content pieces, which educated the customers as to how you can actually use this product the best possible way to not only groom yourself, but everybody around you. Because I think that's where we were all stuck in, right? The digital meetings were on, but you were not able to groom yourself by going out. So I think this was one such small example that I want to quote here.
Good. That's great. Any closing comments? Sriram, anything else that you would like to add?
No, thank you. I think it's been a wonderful session. I think one thing I would just comment on, and especially in automotive, for us, distribution network is a huge part of our business channel, right? Because they are the ones who are convincing the customer to kind of, buy our product. So when you talked about empathy, one of the things that we constantly were conscious of is how is the distribution network? We got probably around 5,000 to 6,000 people really, in that space who are actually helping us, move the metal. So, are we protecting them on health insurance? So we ran a program of how to make sure that our consultants have a health insurance covers along with their dealer owners. How do we make sure that our customers have a pay now, or buy now, pay later kind of a, program. So it is not just about what you say, but how you act, and not just how you act with your customers, but how you act with your stakeholders, distributors, employees. And I think very well mentioned by both Pankaj and Amit. I think it's the goalpost is shifting, and there is no other choice we have as marketeers to be in this space.
Correct. Absolutely. Well summarized. I think we should end on a positive note. We are all seeing, I think, from what we read from Economic Times every other day, is that things are going positive. Markets are bouncing back. There are supply constraints like in Shriram's sector, but I think overall we can only expect good things to happen now, and things are only on the climb. Everything is moving positive. On that note, I think thank you so much for joining us. I hope the audience also has benefited from the wisdom of the three gentlemen out here. Amazing experiences they have shared. Thank you so much. Back to the ET team.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Dasgupta, for really bringing about those thoughts from our panelists right here. It's been a pleasure having you moderate this session. And a big thank you to all our panelists, Ms. Padmanabhan, the way that you discussed right here of how your entire communication from the team has changed, especially in the last few months during the very difficult COVID times. But the digital presence has really grown, and how the focus is a lot more on growing with all stakeholders, be it the distributors, the employees, the consumers. It really is taking the entire ecosystem alongside. I'd also like to thank Ms. Parihar for sharing with us. So like you said, sir, that personal hygiene has always been important. But the last few months, we've seen a huge change, a huge rise in your markets. And at least we are hoping that this will change the way people see personal hygiene forever and for good. And once again, a big thank you to Mr. Sethia. It's really about creating the right content, being more empathetic. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for sharing your thoughts with us here. It's been a pleasure listening to all of you all.
Thank you.
And as we get all set for our next session, I'd like to remind all our viewers right here that we have a lot of excitement in store for you. But do remember to share your thoughts on your social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And please do tag us on hashtag ET Promising Brands as we get all set to bring to you our next speaker for our very interesting session on building trust, the key to unlocking the digital space. We'll bring to you yet another success story in just a bit. So please don't go anywhere. Well, I'm sure each one of you listening in does agree with us when we say that the rise in conscious consumers today means that you need to be thinking about social, environmental, ecological, political positioning of your brand. This is also something that our panelists a while ago touched upon, that we need to be a lot more sure of what we are doing, making sure that we are making the right moves in the minds of our consumers. We'll be very soon unveiling the Economic Times Promising Brands 2021 coffee table book right here, where we feature brands that are innovative and that have left a lasting imprint on the consumers' minds. They believe in the right value system, uniqueness, innovativeness, all that and more. Very soon, we'll be bringing to you right here on this very interactive platform. Till then, I'd like to urge all our audience members to please continue sending in questions for our speakers. They'll only be more than happy in addressing a few of them right here. We're all set to bring to you our next session, which is on building trust, the key to unlocking the digital space journey of Cred. And it is such a delight to present to you Mr. Kunal Shah, co-founder, Cred. We welcome you.
Cred has been around for now nearly over 2.5 years, and it's been an incredible journey for us. It's good to see the brand evolve in a very short period of time, get the kind of love and respect that it's managed to get in a short period of time. We launched on November 26, 2018, and majority of our time has been during COVID. But it's been very heartening to see the support that we've got from our members. Our mission was very simple: that can we reward, can we celebrate creditworthy individuals, trustworthy individuals, and improve the relationship that they have with money? Could we create a platform where you get rewarded for good financial behavior? And our idea was very simple. A transaction that usually people get penalized for not paying the bills on time. We said, what if you got rewards for paying your credit card bills on time? And that simple concept has done really, really well for us. We've become a market leader in this category, and largely because the idea was simple and powerful. It recognized people for good behavior. In a country where we are constantly punished for a bad behavior or getting lost for doing a right thing, a brand came around and said that we first recognize you for being a trustworthy or creditworthy individual, and then goes on to say that we will reward you every time you do the right thing. Fortunately for us, everything that the brand has done, be it for our own team, be it any ad campaigns that we've done, be it launching new products, we've seen constant success, constant adoption, constant love. And we take it as a big responsibility. Fortunately, for us, with a very small team, we managed to do quite a lot of things in a short period of time. Often we are asked, how come Cred does not have a social media presence? And we often wonder, what do we do on social media? We do not tweet anything. We don't say anything. I think our brand is all about doing the right thing consistently and letting our members win, create financial progress for them. And I think we've sort of redefined how brands are built. We are not out there being preachy. We are not out there trying to appear to be grandiose. We are appearing to be very contemporary in our approach. And I think that has really, really worked. Talking about our ad campaigns, they've worked because, first of all, we do not use any standard ad agencies to work with, and we could take a completely fresh approach towards how to think about building brands for an ad campaign. And we were able to get conversations going. I think brands of future cannot just be treating consumers as some dumb beings where you can constantly just tell them stuff and they will listen to you. I think brands going forward, we need to be part of conversations and create conversations. What our campaigns managed to do is really help create some conversations amongst our members. And that really worked out well for us. The role of team that we've managed to build, majority of our leaders have an interesting background of having a background in performance arts also, apart from the regular skill set that they have. So our head of engineering is a musician, our head of design is a singer. We have a lot of people who are poets, DJs, singers. And I think that approach really worked out well for us, because these individuals naturally understand that they have to build a product to get the applause of the audience and customers and members, and not the applause of their bosses. I think that one approach of building the brand with the mindset to get applause, be appreciated, be respected. As a brand, we've also participated in many causes. We were recently involved in being probably the largest donator for the oxygen supply during the last COVID wave. And many millions of our members contributed for that cause, and we became a platform to contribute. And I think doing some of these things and thinking of our brand more of a community is what has given us some success, a good set of team members, a good set of consumers and members that we have got right now, and right purpose and mission behind the brand has allowed us to kind of differentiate. And going forward, we do see that we will keep doing more things. And we recently launched a new product which was received quite well. We do believe that thankfully the brand is in a good place, that everything that we do is expected to be of a certain quality, and consumers are excited to use that products that we bring. One important aspect is our investment in design. A lot of Indian products underestimate the power of design. They often tend to cut corners on that. But we are in a world which is digital in nature, right? If we are able to spend money in our offline stores and make them nice, why shouldn't our apps not be well designed? Why shouldn't they inspire, make you feel excited? Should be not beautiful. I think that approach that we took as a brand has really paid off for us as well. We've almost set a good standard on how well designed Indian apps can be, because historically we always thought, oh, global apps are well designed and Indian apps are not designed. I think that conversation is not valid anymore, because many brands like Cred have taken the initiative to kind of build that change of brand imagery. But overall, super excited to be building a brand. It's probably the toughest time to be building a brand, but it's also a time where all the consumers are ready to change their habits, and probably the best time to build a brand because of the same reason.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Shah. And like you said, it's probably one of the most difficult times to really build a brand, and your brand has done wonders with being in presence for only about 2.5 years and evolved so very much in this very short span. How diverse your team is, how the team is really bringing individuality to the plate, and how this approach is really taking things forward for you at Cred. So once again, we'd like to thank you for sharing your story with us. And we wish you and the entire team at Cred all the very best. Thank you so very much for being a part of a spectacular evening. And once again, let me tell our viewers, if you're looking forward to knowing what your thoughts are with regards to the Economic Times Promising Brands, this very special evening right here, Do remember to tag us when you post on your social media using our hashtag #ETPromisingBrands as we get all set for many more expert talks right here. Very soon, we'll bring to you yet another success story, a fabulous journey of creating a brand and more. And very soon, we're going to have an expert panel who will be telling us more about how resilience is really the need of the hour, how implementing technology as an enabler to sustain the business and making it smart at the same time. All of these are pointers that all of us creating a brand truly believe in, creating that promise of bringing about and making sure that Business Connect Drive is really there. So all this in just a bit. Please do stay tuned. We're now all set to bring to you yet another expert story right here, Brand Vantage 3, Brookbone Red Label, making India more inclusive. And who better than our expert right here? Telling us more about this success story is Mr. Shiva Krishnamurthy, Vice President, Foods and Beverages at HUL. We welcome you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really delighted to share the journey of India's oldest and most favorite tea brand, Brookbone Red Label. I think what makes this journey particularly special is the fact that it's based on a purpose which is way beyond selling the product. And that purpose is that of making India more inclusive. And what better than India's oldest and largest tea brand to champion this purpose? We've been on this journey for the last 7-8 years, and it's been a really rewarding journey. And what I'm attempting to do in this talk is to try and bottle some of the learnings and distill some of the things that we have learned on this journey to share with all of you. The first learning, of course, is that being purposeful works. I mean, not that there is any major doubt about this, but just to be abundantly sure, being purposeful is a great way to drive business. In fact, it is the best way to drive brand salience and business growth, as you can see in the results that we've got. So our market shares have zoomed from, I mean, these are indexed numbers. So our market shares, as you can see in the blue bar, have zoomed significantly from the time we embarked upon this journey. while that of our nearest competitor has actually come down. So from being the number 2 brand before starting this, we are now the number 1 brand. And I think this is very special to us because this shows that consumers endorse what we are doing and people care about what we are saying. The second learning is about having purpose at the core of our brand building and marketing. I think one of the misconceptions that we somehow have is that we feel that purposeful activity is something that happens at the periphery. It is that other thing that we do. The main thing that we do is actually sell our product. But by the way, we also do something purposeful along the sideline. I think that's not true. What we've learned here is that the first rupee that we spend on marketing Brooke Bond Red Label is on purpose, which means that any television commercial that we create, and we've created a few over the last 7-8 years, goes through the filter of saying, does this help make India more inclusive? And only then do we really feel excited and energized about it and take it forward. So the big lesson is first marketing rupee goes behind being purposeful, not the last one. And I'm now going to show you one of our newer commercials that helps us make India more inclusive.
ये किन्नर भी ना परेशान करने आ जाते हैं।
अरे नहीं माँ जी, कुछ लेने नहीं देने आई हूँ। बगल में मेरी चाय की दुकान है और बारिश में सब अटके हुए थे तो सोची सबको एक कप चाय पिला दूं। लीजिए लीजिए ना,
लाओ
आप भी लीजिए। आती हो?
अरे सुनो,
हाँ
जरा इधर आओ।
अरे नहीं माँ जी, आज पैसे नहीं लूंगी।
पैसे कौन दे रहा है? सदा सुखी रहो। ब्रूक बॉन्ड रेड लेबल, स्वाद अपनेपन का।
That was our commercial. In fact, I'm very happy and proud to tell you that this commercial was judged as one of the best pieces of advertising in Unilever worldwide, something that we at HUL are very proud of. The next learning is actually about having product at the heart. And this probably addresses another misconception that may exist around purposeful brand building, which is saying that, look, when we are doing something about the brand purpose, we need not really have the product. We needn't be literal about the product. We actually don't agree with that. We feel that whatever purposeful marketing that you do on a brand must have the product at the heart. And outside of television commercials, we've taken several initiatives that help build the brand and make India more inclusive. And I want to share with you one social experiment that we did a few years back with the product at the heart. Here it is.
मैं ऑफिस से घर जा रही थी तो मैंने देखा स्टेशन पे ये बोर्ड लगाया हुआ है, फ्री चाय। मुझे ज़रा सरप्राइज लगा, इसके लिए मैं अंदर गई और सामने वो लेडी आके बैठ गई।
मुझे पता नहीं था कि करना क्या है। वो चाय कंपनी वाले लोग बोले कि आप जाके लोगों से बात कीजिए, पर मैंने सोचा कि कॉल गर्ल लोग से कौन बात करेगा। का ऑफिस यहाँ है आपका?
हाँ, यहाँ आईटी भवन के बाजू में है मेरा ऑफिस, इंश्योरेंस का। आपने लिया इंश्योरेंस?
नहीं, मेरे को इंश्योरेंस नहीं समझता है।
उसमें क्या समझने की बात है, मैं बताती हूँ ना आपको। कहाँ रहते हैं आप?
मैं कमाडीपुरा। जब मैंने बोली उनको कि मैं कमाडीपुरा से हूँ तो वो सोच के थोड़ा हिल गए और मुझे लगा कि अभी वो उठ के चले जाएंगे।
मैं जाने वाली थी, मैं वहाँ पे रुकने वाली नहीं थी, लेकिन ऐसे चाय आधा छोड़ के जाना भी इंसल्टिंग लगता है ना।
इस तरह का इंश्योरेंस लेना चाहिए?
हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लेना चाहिए आपको।
क्यों, मेरी लाइन की वजह से?
अचानक से जब उसका ये क्वेश्चन आया तो मुझे भी लगा कि शायद मैंने जो उसको बोला वो उसको बुरा लगा होगा शायद।
मोस्ट ऑफ लोगों को तो हमारा स्टाइल देख के ही पता चल जाता है कि मैं कॉल करूँ, आपको पता नहीं चला?
पता तो चला, लेकिन दिन में ऐसे इस टाइप का कोई।
तो किस तरह का इंश्योरेंस लेना चाहिए मेरी लड़की के लिए?
बेटी है आपकी?
जी हाँ, 12 साल की सुवर्णा।
ओके,
ये देखिए उसकी फीस।
सुवर्णा प्यारी लग रही है। हाँ, बहुत प्यारी है उसकी बेटी, मेरी प्राची की जैसी। ऐसे नॉर्मली कॉल कोई बोलती तो शायद मैं नहीं बात कर पाती उससे, लेकिन जब बात की तो पता चला कि वो भी मेरे जैसी वर्किंग वूमन है। और जैसे मुझे मेरी बेटी के एग्ज़ाम की टेंशन रहती है, वैसे उसको भी उसकी बेटी के एग्ज़ाम की टेंशन है।
So this social experiment reinforces our strong belief in that we have in the power of a cup of tea. We genuinely believe that a cup of tea can help people find common ground. People who have no business being together can come together over a cup of tea. And that's what the video that you saw shows. The next learning is about doing, not just saying. So when you're a purposeful brand, you need to back your words with actions. So just like you express your point of view through, say, a piece of advertising, we also need to take some action that makes India more inclusive. And over a period of time, we've taken a whole set of actions that attempts to do that. And one of the actions that we're probably most proud of is sponsoring India's first transgender music band. So this was called the Brook Bond Red Label 6-pack band, which featured 6 people from the transgender community of India and created a blockbuster music album. Among the many accolades that this won was a Grand Prix at Cannes, which is considered the Oscar of advertising, as many of you may know. And what made us particularly happy and proud was the fact that our 6-pack bandmates were actually able to travel to Cannes and perform. So here's a video of that.
I am pleased to welcome the winners of last year's Glass Grand Prix, India's first transgender band, the Brook Bond Red Label 6-pack band.
राजू ताली देना।
So this was a proud moment for us because we were able to include people who don't always get included into a mainstream sort of a situation, and that made us really happy and proud and helped us further our brand purpose of making India more inclusive. And one other learning is about riding the news waves. We live in an era where there's lots of news going on. Let's say there are festivals, let's say there's a day like a Women's Day or a Mother's Day or many such days. And there are topical things happening around us all the time. From a brand building perspective, this offers us a wonderful opportunity to place our brand message in a particular context. Right? So the news or the event or the festival provides a context, and it's up to us to be nimble enough and agile enough to deliver our purposeful message in that context. We've done a few of these, and I want to give you one example that we did on Women's Day. Here it is.
He loves to make tea, but that doesn't make him a girl. He knows just how much sugar to add, but that doesn't make him a girl. He pours it gracefully, but that doesn't make him a girl. He makes it for both of them, but that doesn't make him a girl. It just makes him a boy who girls like. Brook Bond Red Label, taste of togetherness.
So this was one of many ways in which we could place our inclusiveness message in the context, in this case, Women's Day. And it, of course, espouses the Unilever marketing credo of unstereotype. And we were able to unstereotype gender roles in this particular piece of communication. So there it is, summarizing learnings is that purpose works. The first and not the last rupee goes on the core. Product must be at the heart of anything that you do in brand building. We must do, not just say, when it comes to brand purpose. And news waves provide us a context or an opportunity wherein we can place our brand message to make it even more resonant. So that's the journey of making India more inclusive. The journey is very much on, and we continue to feel very excited about it as we continue to work on it and continue to build on it. Hope you find it useful. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Krishnamurthy. It was such a pleasure listening to how you and the entire team is making India more inclusive. Thank you for showcasing more about the Brook Bond tea brand, the value that you've created, how with your new content, you're really trying to remove the stereotypes, bringing about these fantastic new ideas, replacing gender roles and really touching hearts with all that you do. And something that you mentioned at the very end, that product always has to be the very best, has to remain the heart of what one does, and then create the brand around it, bring about opportunities to really take home the message. So thank you once again for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I'm sure that our viewers had a lot to learn from you. We're now all set to bring to you our next segment, which is going to be yet another fantastic success story on learn, unlearn, and relearn the upgrade journey. A lot more from our expert speaker in just a bit. Till then, keep tweeting using our hashtag #ETPromisingBrands. We bring to you some amazing stories right here at the Economic Times Promising Brands 2021. And it's time for us to learn, unlearn, and relearn the upgrade journey. And what a pleasure to welcome right here our young and dynamic speaker. We have for you Mr. Arjun Mohan, Chief Executive Officer, India Upgrade. We welcome you, Arjun, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Isha. Thanks a lot. Thanks, ET, for this opportunity in ET Promising Brand. It's great to be here. I'll take a few minutes to explain to you what we do. I hope that this will be an interesting session for you, simply because we are all over the place now, and I'm sure there will be at least some of you interested on how we build it all out and what has been the journey. Upgrade is 5 years old, 5+ years old currently. Before getting into big brand building activities, or in marketing terms, what you call as creating awareness, we have been an organization which was super focused building our product. As an educational institution, we believe that if we are not able to give an outcome which our learner is looking for, we cannot do a long-term business proposition. And as a result of which, we were always very, very clear that we will put disproportionate amount of our time building out the product, which will finally be organic enough to grow, because each and every learner who goes through it will be super happy about this. So that's what our first 4 years were, where we completely focused on building out that product. What we always kept in mind is that the learner who comes to us has got an objective. And what is this objective? That is where everything starts from, right? So consumer insights or understanding our learner has been pivotal, has been central to this organization. So we still spend a lot of amount of time listening to our learners, what they are saying, what are they looking at? More importantly, what are they not saying? That's what we do in marketing, right? But understand what they're looking at. So we realize that a learner come to us to do a skilling course, typically for 3 reasons. One, he or she wants to upskill to move into a new domain, what you call as a transition, or he or she is looking for a job at the end of it. Number 2, someone who is in a job, happy about it, but is not happy about the speed at which the person is moving. They are looking at an acceleration after being more skilled, could be becoming a managerial role, TL role, whatever it is. And finally, the most common, people who are looking for professional confidence, people who are looking at getting new projects and being someone who's seen as a superstar in their own organization. So we intently understood that this is what our learners look for. And as a result of which, this is what we try to do. Our platform in the beginning itself take the objective a learner is looking at, and then tracks them through the process to show how they are improving on it, step by step and step. So this is what we did 4 years, building a world-class platform, which will ensure that a learner gets the outcome he or she is looking at if they invest themselves in the product. This is one reason why our product has got around 87% conversion rate versus a MOOC, which is around 2%. So we felt by the end of 4 years that we have done a good job at it. And hence then we started embarking on the journey of creating awareness for the same product. So this also, we did it in multiple stages. The stage 1 of creating awareness was about, let me just move the slide so that you, So what about positioning the product? So we realized from multiple conversations with our learners that Indian learners has the tendency to call a useful course or a calm key course as a degree. Whether it's a course, certification, diploma, whatever it is, they call it degree. So what is this calm key cheese for Indian learners? We realize that the calm key cheese is actually a life transformational experience at the end of the course, the outcomes which I spoke to you about. So hence, we positioned our product as Naam Ki Degree. We went out saying that we are not Naam Ki Cheezein, but we are Calm Ki Degrees. And in the first campaign we went out with, when we really started doing the awareness, we started again picking up consumer insights of our learners. Our learners are predominantly working professionals, someone who is trying to do really well in their careers. They are exposed to multiple politics in their own organization. And that was one of the points they were all worried about. So we said that why don't we take this insight to build an ad? That's what we did with our first campaign, where instead of using celebrities or known forces, we used a donkey. So the story was about most people try to please their boss. And most people think that their bosses are donkeys. Not most people, some of them, because they are not able to please them. So we created an environment where people are trying to please a donkey. Obviously, pleasing a donkey is a stupid thing. While the hero is not trying to do anything, and he says that I'm taking a course from Upgrad, so I don't need to lick ass. I can just kick ass with Upgrad. So you can see that the positioning we took, or the approach we took, was a little extreme, because obviously licking ass is not a pleasant imagery to have. And we got a couple of people writing that, how can you talk like this being an educational brand? I agree. But the fact of the matter is, today's consumer, today's customer, especially our customer, working professional, is distracted with so much of noise around them. Every brand wants their 30 seconds of attention. To get their attention, we realize that you need to give a shock treatment. A treatment which will start as a shock, but over the end of the ad becomes an interesting thing. You are making a very cheeky idea there, but it is very, very effective. So that is what we started with. We started by speaking about this. This one, I mean, to talk a bit about this campaign, this was just not a TV campaign, although the major part was IPL and TV and so on and so forth. But the campaign also had a 360-degree approach. We did a lot of surround sound, wherein digital aspect was really pushed through along with it. And that is very important in today's world. If you want your consumer or your customer to be aligned with what you're thinking, you need to go and touch him at multiple touch points. Otherwise, it's very easy to get missed out. So this campaign had 360-degree approach to it. We did have multiple media coming and hitting the consumer. And as part of it, we also observed that our customer is moving more and more digital. As a result of which, we did multiple branded content interventions also alongside with this. One thing we always kept same is we use the theme of office politics. I'm sure at least some of you would have seen the content we created with B-Unique called the Office Canteen. The theme itself is the life in an office and how various points you can do better if you continuously upskill. So that's been our approach. We kept doing this approach for 3 campaigns. Started with this, moved on to specific campaigns taking our products. We did a campaign with MBA. We did a campaign with degrees. We did one more round of campaign with the same donkey, different setup, using our data science and tech courses. So after an year of this exposure, we saw our awareness going up, both supported and non-supported awareness just moving complete quadrants. And we felt that phase 1 is now complete. And hence we moved to phase 2. So in phase 2, we became more ambitious or aggressive, whatever you want to say. And we started talking about Upgrad. We said that, yes, you know about Upgrad. Now, why don't you know more so that your interest in Upgrad goes up, and hence the sales conversion or the final buy-in start happen. So this is the current campaign we are running in this IPL. It's happening. We are talking about we are taking a message which is very, very on your face, saying fast forward your career. This again came from consumer insight while we were keep talking to a lot of our learners. And one thing which we understood has been sorry about that. Yeah, has been an aspect which the learner was always worried is, what if my friend goes ahead of me? So this talks about the story of 2 friends who meets somebody from their batch after many years and realizes that that person is going to join their company as their boss. And the reason, the person has taken a course from Upgrad. So the whole proposition is built out as 4 ads. The main ad talks about this. And then the ad continues with 15 seconds where we talk about one of the proposition of Upgrad, one after another. Top universities, top placements, and top faculty. Yep. So that's, I think I am out of time. So this is what we have been doing, the phase 1 and phase 2. I apologize for the noise in the background. I'm at an airport. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, quickly to put it through, as you can see, the focus started with product, build out the right product for the customers, keep listening to the customers to keep improving on it. Start your campaigns only when you believe that your product is ready, and then go phase-wise. Start with awareness, then move step by step by explaining your value proposition. That's why how we build it, one brick at a time. I personally feel that we are still very, very nascent in our brand journey, and there is so much more to happen. This is a huge country. A lot more people deserves to be upskilled, and there aren't that many offline university seats. So we see our goal as an audacious goal in helping the economy and this country itself, and that's what we are trying to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Arjun Mohan, for sharing with us Upgrade's journey of how you and your entire team have truly believed that knowing your customer is important, knowing what the learner in your case wants is important, knowing what the final objective is so very important, and making sure that you focus your communication around that. Thank you also for sharing your latest campaign with us, Fast Forward Your Career. I don't think a message can be as clear as that. So once again, at the crux, really listening to your consumer, presenting them with what they're really looking forward to, starting with awareness and building one brick at a time. Very, very well said by you there. Thank you once again for joining us, and here's wishing you and the team at Upgrade all the very best. As we look forward to yet another interesting conversation very soon, we're going to bring to you experts discussing a lot about what's in the app brands for 24/7 mobile customers. So now we do know that customers today are changing as we speak, and what can we do for them is going to be something that our experts will be talking about next. They'll be highlighting some practices where we blend changing customer preferences and sustainable branding, all of that in just a bit. So please do listen in. We're all set to bring to you a very candid conversation on what's in the app brands for the 24/7 mobile customers. And may I present to you our power-packed panelists right here. We have with us Mr. Aman Srivastava, Head of Marketing, Sony Liv. A very warm welcome to Mr. Manav Sethi, CMO, Octo.com. May I also present to you Mr. Priyank Agarwal, Director Marketing, Tata One MG. A very warm welcome to Ms. Sasha Chetri, Head of Digital Strategy, MyGlam. I'd also like to present to you Mr. Gaurav Lagate, Assistant Editor, Sports, Media and Entertainment, The Economic Times, our moderator for this session. Over to you, Gaurav.
Hi. Thank you, Isha. And we are living in a world where consumers are always online. They like something, they post about it. They hate something, they post about it. And they expect a world-class experience because, let's face it, they are all spoiled for choices. There are 40 plus video streaming apps, over 200 fantasy and online gaming platforms, and that is not counting casual gaming apps, and a plethora of e-commerce platforms catering to their needs with touch of a button. In such a scenario, the biggest challenge today for all my panelists is not just to get the consumers to download their apps, but also to make them come back. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this candid conversation on what's in the app, brands for the 24/7 mobile consumers. So my first question to all of you is, within your sector, how difficult is it, to acquire a customer and retain her? Let's start with Aman.
Hi, thank you, Gaurav. Hi to everybody. Well, retaining a customer is a user, I would say. Retaining a user today is as difficult as acquiring because, like you said, they're spoiled for choices. That's right. But then I think that is something which we enjoy as well, because the opportunity to delight is always there. It's not just a 1 day or a 1 week or a 1 month kind of a relationship that we build with the consumer every day, and it is good that there's a lot of competition which is there because that is when the user also realizes what is the kind of offering that you have. So I think retention and acquisition for us at the same time has the same playbook because delight is what is there at every opportunity.
Okay. So Sasha, MyGlam started as a pure e-commerce platform and now has added the whole content part with the acquisition of PopXO. Yes. How is the content and commerce approach working out in getting the consumers and increasing engagement?
Amazing. Honestly, in fact, I was also going to answer your earlier question with the whole content to commerce strategy itself, because that's something that has really cracked it for us in retaining our consumer. Because, and as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So, it was only last year that we acquired PopXO. And in the last 1 year, MyGlam is now very visible to the 88 million women that are actively using PopXO today. So pre-PopXO acquisition, I think we were at about, we were acquiring about 30K customers a month. And now we've jumped as of now to about 3 lakhs a month. So the content commerce strategy is really, really working for us. It is, retention is something that we have really cracked with this. And especially keeping in mind the fact that this is a beauty user. So this is a beauty user and this is a beauty fan. So she loves not just shopping, but talking about all things beauty, reading about all things beauty. It's a very engaged user. So the minute they see a lipstick that they love, then come on the platform and they read about how she can use this lipstick and look fantastic for Diwali. That's it.
Okay, great. So coming to Mana, your segment has been in the news for many reasons, from fundraising to regulatory issues. What are your biggest challenges in terms of user retention, considering the legal aspects too?
I think from a user retention standpoint, right, it is all through the same for any industry. And a consumer who has liked your game, who has been loyal to you by paying, recurring on whether it is Teen Patti, whether it is poker, whether it is the Fantasy League, it is largely your ability from a platform standpoint to invest on big data, on algorithms which can create personalized experiences. And I think once you do that bit, right, from the moment a new player comes on board and he becomes a loyal player, right? How do you do bonus vesting? How do you do persona management? And we have 12 kinds of such persona across sharks, whales, tortoise, rabbits, etc. Right? And then how do you sort of, come to those points where you believe that he's, weaning away, and you bring him back, keep him engaged, etc., etc. So it is all about tech and data. I think gone are the days of conventional marketing, where it was largely because of the seasonality and largely because of the absence of actual consumption. I think in today's world, if you look at retention, it is all about data, data, data. Thank you.
Okay. So quickly, coming to Priyank, you come from a sector which is literally a lifesaver, and you must have seen a lot of increase in business during the last 18 months. As the sector is heavily regulated, how different is it for you when it comes to offering an app for your users who will come only when they need medicines?
Right. So Gaurav, as you mentioned, it's absolutely right that we have seen a very upsurge in the COVID era, and retention for acquisition is also very important. As I think Manav, Aman, and Sasha said, it's very important for all the industries. But from the healthcare, it's different in some ways, because there are two types of customers that we counter to. One is a customer who is quite, a person who got ill and then he is ordering the medicine. But a person who has a recurring type of disease like diabetes, blood pressure, or might be some heart patient. So we always want that these particular patients or the customers who are into a recurring medicines should be retained for Tata 1mg for a longer period of time, because they have a lot of options, also offline options also available. And for that, we are devising a method that whenever the patient or the customer is uploading the prescription, we scan that particular prescription and understand that when the customer is ordering for the first time, we estimate that at what time, after what duration this particular medicine will be over. And once we, reaches to this particular duration, we start reaching out to the patient or the customer to refill its own account or to refill its own medicine account. So by that particular mechanism, we try to retain the customers, because retaining the customers, improves our overall mathematics, improves our LTV and ROI.
So if I take a consumer's head right now, sometimes I personally, because the kind of notifications I get, sometimes it's too intrusive. How many such notifications are too many? When you say reach out, I think that is something which, Sasha, you are smiling. Would you like to take it first? How many are too many for the consumers?
There's always the option to say no to notifications. And if you have said yes to notifications and you are receiving, there are multiple journeys. So if you are, at any point of those journeys and you're interacting with the brand a lot, the assumption is that you want those notifications. So I don't think there's anything that how much is too much. There are brand fans, they want to be informed. And then you also have users who are one-time users, for them it's a transaction, but they have the option to not be notified.
Okay. Aman, how many such messages your users get on a say weekly basis?
See, our brand promise is one new story every Friday. And the number of people who come onto my platform is a percentage of the overall base, right? So I think what Manav touched upon is data, right? I think we are in the era where data is going to start governing these choices, right? Because on our platform, we have seen users watching live cricket, watching a Malayalam movie, watching a Hindi content, as well as a Marathi original show as well. So basically, the idea of an OTT platform or an app is choice, right? So now the choice is there. So do I stop the consumer's choice by not informing them, or do I start regulating those choices? I think over a period of time, and I think that is where some of the greatest data platforms, some of the greatest apps have been made, because they have a plethora of information from their prior experience and data which they have been collecting. So there are iterations which keep happening. There is no thumb rule for this, honestly. Yeah. And all the partners with whom we are working, we realize that this is one place where nobody can come and say that this is the golden rule. It just keeps changing time and again. So there is nothing like this is too much, like 2 is too many or 20 is too less. So that is where that is where we are at.
Okay. So coming to COVID, COVID has been one of the biggest challenges and disruptors for most of the businesses, I think, in a lifetime. It also drastically changed consumers' habits from the first lockdown when they were confined to their homes to a time when unlock started and there was a mad rush to go out, which then resulted in a much worse second wave. To now, when again we are seeing life coming back to normalcy. So what are the kind of shifts you have seen in consumer behavior, and what are the learnings that you would like to share? I mean, if Manav would like to start with that.
Sure. So I think gaming was one of those 2-3 sectors which saw humongous, high when people had disposable time and they didn't have ability to socialize offline, right? So if you look at gaming, right, it is not only a personalized experience, but it is also an experience that crisscrosses across the borders and across the persona, right? And what we have seen in the COVID days, games like Teen Patti, games like poker, right, have been played not only by people at large, but also have become an instrument for family engagement, because you can set up private table to play games with your loved ones. A game like Tombola, right? We've seen very, very big financial institution using Tombola as an employee engagement platform in the peak COVID times. I'm sorry, right? So, I mean, what we have seen that as an high, again, I'll go back to what I said in the past, right? That the platforms that have invested a lot in technology, in CRM engines, have been able to hold on to that growth. While I say that, I must also say that that growth has sort of plateaued as the lockdown has sort of ended and we are on the other side of it, right? Happy for world at large. But again, the ability to convert those first-time users into loyal, consumers is something which is the function of the enduring investment into technology.
So coming to Sasha and Priyank, I mean, if you can also take me through what shifts in the consumer behavior you have seen, and what are the learnings from that?
Priyank, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So, Gaurav, in COVID, healthcare has seen a huge shift. We have experienced the good times, the bad times, both. If I list down the shifts, the number one shift is that the customer wants the medicines to be delivered in short duration of time. So earlier we were, delivering in like 1 day, 2 days. Now we are reducing this particular delivery time to a couple of hours only. Second shift that we have seen is that the people, obviously on the COVID time and now also post-COVID, are a little apprehensive to go out of the market from the house. Go out of the house to go to the market and to buy the medicine. So they are so more and more offline people are converting to the online ecosystem, and that's why we are working very hard to make the online ecosystem very much easy and accessible, even to the older audience who are not very much tech savvy. We are giving a lot of free consultations, also blood collection facility at the home to all the consumers, so that the shift from offline to online should not be disrupted in any way. The entire journey should be online, and the customer don't feel like that there is any gap or any hiccups in the journey. So I think these are the some of the shifts that we have seen in the consumer behavior in these COVID times.
So, Sasha, in your sector?
So, a couple of disclaimers here before I start is that, see, MyGlam has always been a D2C brand. Yeah. So we've always been digitally first. We've always been directly, in connect with our user, and also beauty and our users were already very used to shopping online. It was not a new concept or something that we had to introduce when COVID hit. So this consumer was already very savvy online. Having said that, I do agree with Manav here is that consumer had a lot of time. So this was the big difference, is that consumer had a lot of time to spend online, which is also, I think, why the entire PopXO bet really took off, because it happened during COVID. So the entire introduction of content to enrich a user's experience happened for us during COVID. And the second thing is that since they had time, they were willing to engage with us more, and we were able to actually understand a lot better about what they wanted. So we were able to run a lot of surveys, a lot of touch points where we were listening to them, understanding them. So that really enriched our experience with our customers actually during COVID.
Aman, coming to you, Sony Live premiered one of the biggest Indian web series, Scam, last year. This year there was Maharani and sporting properties, like you said, cricket, UEFA, Olympics. But consumers have been spending increasingly more time on OTT, and they have this insatiable hunger for content. Are you seeing this trend for Live and overall for the OTT sector? And do you think that this will continue? The time spent on OTTs will continue to grow because TV is still, I think, what, 3.5 hours. So will OTT be able to meet that, or will there be a difference?
Well, there are two things which have happened due to COVID. One is basically the insatiable appetite of the consumer has grown manifold. And that is something which has driven as a result of that, quality content requirement has increased, right? And a lot of content makers have realized that this is also a not just an alternate medium, but this is perhaps one of the mediums through which you can actually showcase your content in a very different manner, because and there is hard data to prove all of that as well, right? So will this continue? I think human habits are one of the there are pros and cons to both. For us, it's a completely pro, because once the habit starts getting formed, I think until and unless there is a tectonic change in the environment, it doesn't change, right? And I think while lockdown was an unfortunate thing for humanity as a whole, but I think from a consumer perspective, this has unlocked a potential. And I don't see that this is going to come down either, because the ease and the consumption and the quality of content, which fortunately we have been able to provide till now, and we hope the coming ones will also be like that, we will be able to hold on to it, and it will only grow.
I think it was not the seasonal shift, it was a structural shift, right? So there are certain categories like e-commerce, certain categories like beauty and cosmetics, OTT and gaming, where you would see a lot of people, tasting blood for the very first time. And now for them to go back to a offline consumption is a passe. And same would happen, or same would also reflect on the P&Ls of the theaters, which are now due to open as well.
I think that we can go to a completely different conversation if we start talking about theaters and movies. But coming back, yes, COVID actually speeded up the digital transformation, I think, by many years, right? But as what I started with, that with this whole consumers who are always online, and there's the point of instant gratification, instant feedback. I'm liking it, I'm posting. Not liking it, again. So how do you deal with that? Because all of you are marketeers. How do you deal with positive and negative publicity, trolling, if that happens?
I think, from any B2C platform or offering standpoint, right? Today, that immediate feedback is something that in earlier days, consumer research would take years or quarters for it to reflect back, right? For any brand or any marketer today to see how your actual consumers are feeling about your offering, your consumption, your brand, your narrative, even to affect your ad now, right? The moment you put your ad on YouTube, you know how people are reacting to it, right? You can do sentimental analysis. You can see which way the drift is going, right? So I think that is a very, very powerful tool in the hands of a marketer today, where he doesn't need to go out and commission a market research. If you have your ears to the ground, and when I say to the ground, of all those places where you can gather the first-hand feedback, I think that power never existed earlier, right? And whether it is positive or it is negative, you got to go back to that consumer individually if you want to have that enduring affinity with your end consumption.
Anyone else would want to chip in to that?
I think it is the best opportunity that we could get because it is the fastest way to improve yourself, and it is also the fastest way to delight to delight your consumer as well, because they know that they are being heard. And I think the CRM, VRM, what we call viewer response management system that we have, I think we are able to revert to them. But like, see, whenever you have an exponential growth, there is going to be some amount of issues which do crop up, right? And that is why I think we don't take it as trolling, we take it as feedback. And it is good that that is a conversation which is happening two ways. It's not that somebody has said something and you leave it to somebody else's interpretation. The consumer today are so articulate, and from a technology perspective as well, they actually give us some very interesting feedback which helps improve the product as well, right? And 24/7 is because when your product is available internationally, you are always awake. Somebody is always awake somewhere to answer something. So that way, I think it's a brilliant tool for us.
Okay. But is it also a big big drag on the cost also?
No, right? Because at the end of the day, if you are looking at consumer experience, right? When you look at it from a CX standpoint, you realize that this is not a cost here, it is larger a part of offering as a whole. It is what builds your consumption and recurring consumption at scale, right? Because what you get from these feedbacks allows you to go back, as Aman also said, tweak your offering, right? You have to sort of look at what is it that can be changed or can be sort of relaunched, right? So I think this entire specter, which was earlier only a one-way street, right? Brand launching something and then waiting to do the TOMA scores or to look at how consumer reacted. Today, as you rightly said, it is available on your fingertips, right? Now, if you don't leverage it, thinking that it's a cost, right, then it is going to have a long-term impact on your brand, on your consumption, on your loyalties, and again, your word of mouth, right? And these are all the key pillars on which you actually build not brand, but the business.
Sasha, sorry, you were saying something and we
No, I was actually just agreeing with Aman, and I'm further agreeing with Manav too, in the sense that, like, I think one can't use this anymore as positive or negative. It just is. This is there, and it is like, I love that about it being an offering now. Absolutely agree with.
So we have also seen a lot of gamification used by not just in fashion industry, in OTT, in other sectors also. So Sasha, would you like to talk something about how it is helping? Because a lot of influencers are also coming in. How is the whole gamification helping you in marketing?
God, the first thing about it is that it's fun. End of the day, as long as your customers having fun and enjoying themselves on your app, that's what you want. So gamification is taking off because it is fun. People are reacting to it. They want to do it. And of course, well, it depends. Their journey will depend from industry to industry or what it is. For us, it is more about word of mouth. So share and you get XYZ points. Or so that's how we have built ours, is that refer and earn basically. And we've gamified that. But yeah, I think the whole point is that it's fun. That's why it works.
Right. Anyone else would like to add on to what Sasha said?
I think rather than gamification, right, I would sort of flip it and say, if you look at gaming as a whole, right, gaming is subsuming entertainment, gaming is subsuming sports, gaming is subsuming commerce, right? And if you now layer it with what is happening in the NFTs, right? And I think I spoke about it a few weeks back, Fortnite, actually presenting their show, where the latest, offering or avatars will walk on that ramp, right? So what we are witnessing is merging of, 5-6 key layers to create a consumer experience that never existed earlier.
Right. True. So now coming to something that is looking like a challenge, the recent RBI guidelines on auto payments which will come into effect later this week. How are they going to change your businesses? Aman,
So,
you would like.
Yeah, I think this is Aman Singh, because SVODs are gonna be taking a hit a lot on this.
Right.
Basically, actually, the guidelines are going to change, but how they are exactly going to affect, I think this is something which we are also going to see, because there are some caveats which are there in that, right? So we will actually see the entire effect of it once they get implemented. I think both the product and the tech teams, we'll see how it affects the consumer. But then, like I said, acquisition or retention, at the end of the day, it is the content pool which gets it going. But yes, if it actually starts affecting, then maybe we'll have to look at it from a different playbook perspective.
So why I wanted to ask. Yeah, sorry.
I was saying, of course, it's an unnecessary drag on the end consumer. It is a burden on him to sort of come back and re-authenticate what he agreed to re-authenticate in the first place, right? So any such recurring form of consumption where payment needs to be authenticated, right? Whether every 15 days, whether every 7 days. I think this was again one of the reasons why several SVOD apps moved from a 7-day payment plan to a 15-day payment plan to a 30-day payment plan, right? And now I think they need to sort of do some soul searching as to what to do next.
No, I agree. I mean, as a consumer, again, I don't even now remember which are the dates to start payment, and it's a hassle for me. But that's and I remember when TRAI started double verification of value-added services. That was long back. A lot of businesses saw major losses because of that.
Yeah.
So that. But Priyank, Sasha, do you see any issues with that?
So Gaurav, for the healthcare perspective, I don't see as if now there are any challenges for that, because we do have a recurring type of mechanism in the filling of the medicine basket, but the payment is not automatic recurring, because we tell the customers to be aware that your basket is about to be over and please refill it. But automatic payments and recurring payments is not what we have thought of as if now. And immediate challenge I don't see, but might be in the future if we go for a recurring type of payment system, then it can be a little bit of challenge, or there can be a little bit of friction.
Right. Okay. So coming to as you spoke about consumer feedback and insights, one is of course keeping on your ear to the ground, as Manav said. What other methods are you using to get the feedback continuously and insights continuously and changing, or if you have adopted anything, change anything that you would like to share? Let's start with Sasha, because yours is the most direct to consumer and most young blood is coming to your app.
Yes. So Gaurav, actually, our tagline is "Tell MyGlam what you want." So the entire, we built the entire construct on listening to our consumers, understanding what they want. And yes, we have multiple listening touch points. It honestly starts as soon as you sign up. So the minute the journey is that the minute you sign up, you get, there are a couple of questions that you get asked where you'll share your preferences, so we understand you better. And the second part is that even the more surveys you take, you're rewarded. So you're actually rewarded for telling us what you want. So that's another way that we listen and ensure that they are staying on the listening journey with us. The other way, which is the quick, constant way, is social media. So we're very, very engaged. We have a very heavily engaged social media audience, especially also because of PopXO. So we're always running polls, questions, listening to them. That's another touch point that we have. So we're actually listening all the time. We have a lot of touch points set up in entire user journey. If I start, I'll go on and on. But these are the main ones that we ensure that if any single user at least comes back and answers a question on any of these 3 touch points.
That's very interesting, especially the rewarding surveys and all. Anyone else use these or any other formats, tools that you would like to share?
See, I think in a category like gaming, right? For every one round, for one person to win, 3 or 2 people loses, right? So there is a lot of dissonance there, which is not something which is in a usual category, right? So I think one of the key thing in the entire user journey is when to ask the feedback, right? Because at the end of the day, that is directly linked with what consumer experience or consumption experience in the life cycle of their entire feedback loop the consumer is, right? That is one. Second, today, a lot of APIs are available from both Apple and Google in the Play Store and App Store to sort of automate a lot of these feedback loops, right? And which is what we have sort of done that. But we have tightly integrated it with the user journey of a player, and this sort of make the point to also incentivize the user if he gives us a honest feedback.
That's again interesting. Aman and Priyank, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, so Gaurav, from the healthcare perspective, obviously we are in a very critical industry. There is no scope of doing mistake. And if we do a mistake, we have to receive a very lot from the customer. So definitely surveys are our integral part. So we don't do surveys like sometimes we do surveys, sometimes we stop. So we do surveys in a very systematic manner, both externally and both internally in our database. Also, in Tata 1mg, we have a full-fledged department that we call it as customer experience department. And there basically major KRA is to maintain the ORM, that is the online reputation management. So whatever customer is posting on the social media through the help of the tools, we are getting the gist out of that. That what are the sentiments of the customer, what they are saying. And even to the extent we sometimes call to the customer, if we see that's a genuine feedback, we call to the customer to understand that what are the feedbacks that they are trying to say and how we can improve those particular feedback. And that particular feedback is passed on to the respective teams. It can be a product team, a tech team, or might be a supply chain team. So in Tata 1mg, we are doing it in a very systematic and structured way because the industry is like that.
Awesome. So we have last few minutes, and I would like all of you to give closing remarks, focusing on what can marketeers do better to help the entire journey of a user from maybe coming onto the app to searching for the product or in either game or content piece, because I think that also is a very big challenge nowadays, the discoverability of content or product. And then from putting into the cart for e-commerce and finally checking out. Your closing remarks. Maybe Aman, if you would start with.
Well, I think what we can do is dependent on how the customer is also asking or giving us the indications at time, because in our industry, the way a consumer behaves is also taken as a signal, right? And then it depends on us as to how can we delight them further, right? The idea is not second guessing. The idea is exponential increment of experience that we try to give them. So I think as more and more the consumption starts happening, we will start getting better at it. And I think it's a journey which is never going to end. And for marketeers definitely doesn't end ever. It just keeps growing.
Right. Okay, great. Sasha?
I agree with Aman. I mean, it's an evolving journey, product and tech, the user's journey around the app is always going to be evolving. The key thing though, I think for marketers to keep in mind is just customer success management. As long as we maintain that anything I do and everything I do is going to lead to my consumer leading a successful, fruitful life. Just that simple statement, if you keep that in mind, it will really improve the consumer's experience. For example, if it's something as basic as a lipstick that I want to buy, right? Why do I want to buy a lipstick? It makes me feel beautiful. When I feel beautiful, I feel confident. Confidence leads to a successful life. Something as basic as that. So that means that the entire journey And every single brand touch point for my consumer to buy a lipstick needs to make her feel beautiful and confident. So as long as we keep that in mind, I think it's an ever evolving journey, but it will always lead to a consumer enjoying it.
Great. Priyank?
So Gaurav, if you ask me how to make the journey of the customer beautiful or smooth, I would say, as a marketer, first step should be that we should understand the customer requirements in detail, what the customer is requiring, because all the industries' requirement for the customers are quite different. As Sasha said, there can be a different requirement for fashion, there can be different requirement for Myntra, there can be different requirement for healthcare or for gaming or for OTT. Right? To understand the customer requirements is very important, and then stitching those customer requirements in a very crisp and short customer journey, customer flow on the app or on the website makes or gives the customer a feel-good factor. Along with, if you can put out some discounts or some incentives for them, I think these three factors, if you combine together, can make the journey of the customer quite beautiful.
And Manav, your
I think I can capture it in 3 words: data, data, data. Data about the consumer, data on consumption, data post-consumption, data on the feedback loop, and how do you continue to deploy that data to keep customer delight on the top.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Manav, Aman, and Priyank. It was great to talk to you. And thank you, Isha. Over to you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Lagate. What a pleasure listening in to you, moderating this session, getting so many fantastic thoughts, really talking about mobile marketing, the new normal in this very, very digital world today. How Mr. Srivastava said that consumer behavior is really the signal that the marketer needs to catch, and that's what you need to deliver on. How Mr. Sethi said it's all about data and really deploying data and keeping your customer on the top, and that's what's working for you all. I'd also like to thank Mr. Agarwal for sharing his thoughts, really making sure that you provide what the customer wants and what their requirements are, stitching together the customer requirements and making them feel like they are prime. And of course, Ms. Chetri, making sure that one feels confident delivering and adding on to that whole customer experience. And like you very rightly said, the journey is ever evolving. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for sharing your thoughts with us. I'm sure our audience had a lot to learn from the experiences that you shared right here on this very virtual interactive platform. So once again, thank you for joining us. And let me tell all our viewers that we are now at a very, very important and a very exciting time of the evening. We'll soon be presenting to you the Economic Times Promising Brands Coffee Table book. So don't go anywhere.
Everyone.
The Economic Times Promising Brands Coffee Table book features the stories of the most promising brands of 2021 and highlights the promise of growth. So it's really about purpose, promise, and profits. And in this brand book, we feature brands that are innovative and have left a lasting impression on the consumer's mind. So let's now get set and bring to you brands that have shown growth, are disruptors in their respective sectors, and we look forward to wishing them the very best. We now bring to you the Economic Times Promising Brands Coffee Table Book 2021. Our best wishes to brands that have really created a name for themselves when it comes to purpose, promise, and profits. Let us now put our hands together for the Economic Times Promising Brands 2021. Let's hear it for ABC Group and ABC Emporio.
Hello everyone, I am Ahmad Madani, Founder Managing Director ABC Group. Thank you Economic Times to choosing us as a promising brand 2021. We ABC Group started from Malabar region, Kerala in 1998 as a retailer. Now we are transformed into wholesale, distribution, imports, exports, OEM manufacturing and international operations with a team strength of more than 1,600 people. We are one of the largest exporter of ceramic products from India. We are exporting to more than 22 countries. We have many showroom formats like ABC Emporio, ABC May Home, ABC Ceramics. We are working in various countries: Qatar, Oman, UAE, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, including India. We are operating 7 countries. We would like to thank you all the stakeholders, our suppliers, vendors, manufacturers, our team members, our partners, part of a wonderful journey, making us so successful. Thank you everyone.
A round of applause for Accubits Technologies.
I'm Shamir Taha, Chief Strategy Officer of Accubits. I'd like to thank the organizers of Economic Times for recognizing us and creating this amazing platform. For Accubits, recognitions are not just a checkbox that we tick, but it's a testament to our commitment to delivering innovative solutions to advance humanity. Since 2016, we've had over 350 bright minds join our family and have 11 offices catering to more than 200 plus customers from 63 plus countries, including NASA, USPS, Dubai government, and US Homeland Security, to name just a few. We specialize in the areas of AI, blockchain, and big data. From announcing the launch of India's first enterprise blockchain satellite to working on biological semiconductor research, we are a team of dreamers, researchers, and innovators. For us, the journey has just begun. This award means that the long days and demanding schedules of all our hardworking and bright minds pays off, and that the others in the field recognize our brand. We are humbled and honored. We hope to use the energy this award has given us to power through the next phase of our growth. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together for Embrain India.
Hello everyone, I am Ashok Rajpal, the founder of Embrain India. It is truly an honor to receive this felicitation from Economic Times for Promising Brands of India 2021. It is a testimony to the idea and purpose that we started Embrain with back in 2012. We started with a vision to manufacture everyday electronic gadgets in India and support the Make in India movement. The love of the amazing Indian consumers made Embrain the largest homegrown powerbank brand. All of this wouldn't have been possible without you all. Thank you so much and keep supporting.
Let's put our hands together for Amulya Maika.
Hello everyone, I'm Shailja Agarwal, Director of Purvanchal Laminates Private Limited, maker of Amulya Maika. Firstly, I would like to extend my thanks and gratitude to the entire team and the jury members of Economic Times and Times of India for recognizing us and providing us with the most prestigious award of the Most Promising Brand of the Year. We are a company that is based out of Gandhidham. We are into manufacturing of plywoods, laminates, WPC, PVC doors and cladding. We are currently exporting to 28 different countries and we have a network pan-India. We firmly believe that CSR activity is not just an additional function of the business, but it is an integral part of the business. Once again, I would like to extend my warm regards and thanks to the entire team for motivating us with such an award. Thank you.
A round of applause for Atlansa.com.
Hi, my name is Arman Poonawala and I'm the CEO of Atlansa.com. I'd like to begin by thanking the Economic Times for recognizing us as one of India's most promising startups. Our company started with a simple observation, which is that work is exponentially shifting towards the gig economy and companies are increasingly hiring freelancers in order to get work done. We also observe that existing freelance platforms don't actually take responsibility to assure a certain standard to the work. This results in high risk involved, which is why many companies still choose to hire either in-house or work with an agency instead. We decided to create a platform that quality assures all the work that goes to the customer. And that always means that it's going to be of a certain standard. Now that mitigates that risk completely. So far we've processed over 4,000 unique orders, serviced more than 200 businesses, and have given income to 200 plus curated freelancers. The world needs a more reliable solution to work with freelancers, and Atlansa.com intends to be that solution. Thank you once again for this recognition, which only strengthens our case.
Let's hear those virtual applauses for Bhima Jewelry Trivandrum.
Hi, I'm Suhas, Managing Director, Bhima Jewelry. We are extremely obliged and honored to receive this Economic Times Brand of the Year Award 2021. We are a 100 years old brand. We stand for purity and we want to be relevant at this time. And we have showrooms across South India and UAE. And we believe in forming pure relationships with our clients, our customers. So I dedicate this award to all our staff, our customers and our patrons who stood by us all this time. Thank you. We expect support of all our solutions in the future also. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Economic Times. Thank you.
May I request all of you to please put your hands together for Caliber Technologies.
As a technology organization, we strive to make quality management easier for products that affect the lives of billions around the world. This past year has been a great reminder of our purpose. We are all the more determined to serve those who serve the world. On behalf of my Caliber family, thank you for this honor.
We now bring to you Capital Small Finance Bank.
Hello everyone, I am Sarabjit Singh Samra, Managing Director and CEO of Capital Small Finance Bank. I would like to thank the Economic Times for recognizing us amongst promising brands for the year 2021. We started our journey 21 years back as a local area bank with a mission to bring world-class banking facilities at the doorstep of common man at low cost. In the year 2016, we got the opportunity to start operations as India's first small finance bank. It has been a pleasure serving our customers throughout the years. Thank you for believing in us and for your committed trust. Thank you.
applause for CARE Hospital.
Hi, my name is Jasdeep Singh. I am the Group CEO of CARE Group of Hospitals, India. CARE Hospitals operate more than 2,000 beds in 11 hospitals across 5 states in the country. Today, I am extremely grateful to the Economic Times platform for recognizing the CARE Group of Hospitals as the promising brand of 2021. This recognition only proves that our efforts towards improving patient experience and employee engagement have been recognized externally. It also motivates us to continue this journey with even more passion and grit. Thank you so much for this encouragement.
A round of applause for CCT.
Hi, I'm Ragesh Kaisham, Chairman and CEO, Sui Generis Agronomy Private Limited, popularly known for the brand CCT. And I would like to thank the Economic Times for presenting CCT, the Economic Times Promising Brand 2021. The last 2 years has been tough for many businesses, but we have been able to use it to our advantage. We started our research initiatives on CCT to understand its health benefits after encouraging feedbacks from our users. Most notable are the antiviral and immunomodulatory research at IIT Guwahati. Our recent 3 years collaboration with Dr. B. Borua Cancer Institute Guwahati, a unit of Tata Memorial Hospital under the Department of Atomic Energy for anti-cancer studies, is a great step in the right direction and is proof of our commitment for a relentless fight against cancer. This recognition is also a dedication of the hard work by the many who works in the plantation, factory, and in the corporate office, who truly embodies the belief that for every packet of CCT we sell, we are actually making someone smile. For a small company coming from a small state, Manipur, this recognition indeed is a big achievement for the whole Northeast region. Thank you, Economic Times.
May I request the audience to please cheer on Chayos.
Hi everyone, I am Raghav Verma, co-founder of Chayos. I would like to say a big thank you to Economic Times for felicitating us as the promising brand of 2021. And a big thank you to our team and to our customers for all the love. Hope that you keep showering that upon us. Thank you.
Let us put our hands together for Cholamandalam MS General Insurance Company.
Hi, I am Surya Narayanan, MD and CEO of Chola MS General Insurance. It's indeed a special honor for Chola MS to be recognized by Economic Times as a promising brand of India. In a difficult pandemic year, all of us at Chola MS are heartened that we have been able to support customers, business partners, employees, and the community. Chola MS has displayed resilience by ensuring growth, by expanding distribution, adding to its channel partners, and foraying into newer markets. Our digital initiatives over the last 12 months have helped reinforce our brand philosophy of trust, transparency, and technology. This recognition re-energizes us to recommit ourselves with pride in our journey as a purpose-driven insurer. Thank you.
Let's hear it up for Craig.
Thank you, ET, for giving us the honor. We have only our members and team members to thank for this. We hope to keep doing good work and not just be a brand that is here for a short time, but build an enduring company for many years to come.
Let us now put our hands together for yet another promising brand, Sai Future.
Hi, I am Anuj Bairati, CEO and founder of Sai Future India. It is delightful to be recognized as one of the promising brands in India by Economic Times. Awards like this motivate us to keep working towards our mission of making digital transformation a reality for every business. At SciFuture, we enable transformation through technological disruption, thereby delivering next-gen solutions in cloud, infrastructure, big data, enterprise applications, business process services. Our upcoming IoT and AI-based solutions like Cybot is testimony to this. We are mighty empaneled with 4 data centers in India with certifications like SOC 1, 2, 3 and ISO certification makes us different from other data centers in India. Our unwavering commitment to quality, efficiency and relentless focus on excellence has allowed us to turn mere ideas into powerful innovations that have transformed lives of millions across the planet. We have nurtured a long list of partners who trust our brand values of innovation, excellence and accountability. We promise to continue our pursuit of delivering excellent services in future to help shape a sustainable tomorrow. Thank you.
Let us now put our hands together for Dalda Vanaspati.
Hello everyone, I am Milind Acharya, General Manager Marketing at Bunge India. I would like to start off by thanking the Economic Times for honoring our brand Dalda as one of the most promising brands in 2021. Dalda has been a household brand in India with rich legacy over 75 years. At Bunge India, we are proud of the fact that Dalda is India's Vanaspati. What really sets Dalda Vanaspati apart though has been our constant aim to not only meet the regulations in India but also to keep in step with the global food safety norms. Having said that, we have ensured that any change in the brand is only done to offer customers delight. And that's why this good old yellow and green dabba that's ruled Indian kitchens for over 7 decades has taken a step further, bringing in a massive change in the category at large. We are proud to announce that Dalda Vanaspati is now trans fat free. As we speak, we are rolling out this new product at the market and the packs will be available on the shelf very soon. To conclude, I would like to thank once again the Economic Times for bestowing us with this prestigious recognition. Good day to all of you.
Our best wishes to Disney Plus Hotstar.
Hi, I'd like to thank the Economic Times Promising Brands Initiative for recognizing Hotstar. Through all the marketing that we do, our endeavor is to establish Hotstar as the most loved entertainment destination in India. And we constantly try to break the mold on everything that we are doing, whether it's our marketing, product experience, or even the content that we have, in an effort to make Hotstar the most relevant and meaningful service for India. So thank you for recognizing everything that we do, and I hope that all of you continue to enjoy watching entertainment on Hotstar.
Let's put our hands together for D-Life Home Interiors.
Founded in 2004, D-Life Home Interiors is one of the most respected and largest customized home interior design company in South India. D-Life has made its name within the interior design industry for creating unique design solutions that are reliable, elegant, and infused with passion and creativity. The company has 12 showrooms across South India with 2 state-of-the-art factory spaces at Kochi and Bengaluru and a team of 800 permanent employees. D-Life has created breathtaking interiors that range in scale and style, from designs that showcase extraordinary craftsmanship to impeccably finished fabulous decors. Each project at D-Life emphasizes true luxury that is unique, one of a kind, and rare.
Let's bring to you yet another Economic Times Promising Brand 2021, DOMS India.
Hi, I am Santosh Raveshia, a team member of DOMS Industries. On behalf of our enthusiastic and over-ambitious team, I am happy and honored to accept the Most Promising Brand of India 2021 award by Economic Times. Our scholastic stationery and art tools are today the preferred choice of our consumers, who are mainly kids from India and globally. This has been possible with the untiring efforts of our team and our dynamic distribution family. I'm sure our founders would be proud to see their organization continuing with their ethos, philosophy, with sincerity towards their people, consumers, and associates. We at DOMS confirm to continue and keep up our efforts to enrich our consumer experience with mastered products in space VR. We are taking 100% initiative of Make in India and are well invested on best of technology, not limited to manufacturing only. Our team is putting all its efforts to transform our entire channel digitally to be ready for challenges they could experience with changing business scenarios. Thank you again everyone who have been part of this journey. This award is dedicated to all of you. Thank you Economic Times for preferring DOMS for this privilege in spite of spectrum of brands available in this space in India. Thank you.
Let's cheer on EKI Energy Services.
Hello everyone, I am Naveen Sharma, full-time director at EKI Energy Services Limited, popularly known as the brand Enking International. Today we are thankful and we are delighted to have the award from Economic Times for the most promising brand of India in year 2021. We from the entire EKI family, we would like to thank Economic Times to award us. We at EKI Energy Services Limited are involved in doing works related to the carbon credit projects and the renewable energy projects to development of the carbon credit. They are in VCS, CDM, gold standard and different other mechanism where we develop the projects into the carbon credit field. We are one of the listed entity in the BSE stock exchange. We are also having the presence in almost 18 countries and we are expanding day by day. So we have future plans to have more and more team members all across the world. Also, we are developing new projects in different kind of verticals like nature-based solution, waste to energy, and renewable energy. Of course, we are doing that work as well. So that's the part and parcel of the job. Yeah, we once again thanks Economic Times to award us and to give us this opportunity to get the name. Thanks.
Let us now welcome the entire team of Experian Technologies.
Hello everyone, my name is Binu Jacob, the MD and CEO of Experian Technologies. I would first like to thank Economic Times for selecting us to be part of the list of promising brands of India 2021. Experian Technologies is a product engineering services company. The very DNA of our organization is to create very highly valuable product for our customers, which helps them improve their business. And it is quite interesting to note that with this value commitment for customers, we've been able to grow our business 200% in the US, adding about 400 people in India last year, and we're expected to add another 400 people more this current financial year. This felicitation comes at a crucial juncture for us while we are gearing up to expand our global operations. We will continue to work very hard with our customers worldwide to help them unleash their business potential to the maximum, driven by the usage of digital technology. I would like to thank every customer who stood with us and every Experianite who has worked really hard to ensure that the customer's business outcomes are met. Thank you.
A round of applause coming in for Greaves Cotton.
Hello everyone, my name is Nagesh Baswanhali. I'm the Group CEO and MD of Greaves Cotton. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of the entire organization for being acknowledged by Economic Times for being the promising brand 2021. At Greaves Cotton, we are on a transformational journey, a complete ecosystem for last mile mobility in the country. Along with the focus on our Ampere electric two-wheelers, we are also taking a keen interest in electric three-wheelers with the aim of speeding up electrification and sustainable mobility. We've already touched about 1 million lives so far, and our next move is to make sustainable changes in the last mile mobility with the goal of impacting 1 billion people. With our new venture of Greaves Electric Mobility, we have taken significant steps and are determined to play a pivotal role to make EVs more affordable and accessible Being recognized as a promising brand only makes our promise of providing sustainable and better e-mobility solutions all the more stronger. We're truly focused on driving this much needed change. Invite everyone to join hands with us for moving billions with Greaves. Thank you.
A round of applause, very well deserved by Gus Education India. Let's put our hands together for HEAL.
Hi, I am Rahul Mamu. I am the director of HEAL Enterprises. We are an offline-first FMCG product company. We sell soaps, sanitizers, tissues, lotions, hand washes, conditioners, and every other skincare product that is trending currently. We're a pharmaceutical distribution company. We were in distributing sanitizers and realized there was an opportunity to enter skincare as well. And the last 1.5 years is when we launched HEAL, and thankfully it has been doing quite well. We are thankful to ET for considering us for this, and this is a great achievement for us at this stage. We are a relatively small company with about 50 team members, and we are very happy that we've been able to do so far, and we've been able to do so much so far. We currently consume about 600,000 units of plastic bottles every month, and we feel as part of the journey that we should move to a completely sustainable mode. And given that has become a clear part of our philosophy, we have decided to use only recycled bottles and bottles that can easily be recycled as well over the next 4-5 months. This switch would create a great environmental impact as we grow is what we felt. As we expand overseas with enquiries coming in from GCC, primarily Oman and UAE, we feel that this recognition would help us enter those markets better than how we would have been able to enter otherwise. We thank ET once again for considering our brand among the 30 promising brands of India.
Taking the virtual walk of fame next is Hero Electric Vehicles.
Hi, I am Manu Kumar. I head marketing and communications for Hero Electric Vehicles Private Limited. It gives me great pride to accept this recognition on behalf of Hero Electric as one of the most promising brands 2021 from the Economic Times. Hero Electric is India's largest electric two-wheeler company, which has been at the forefront of electric two-wheeler industry. We've been delivering sustainable mobility solutions from the last 14 years and have played a crucial role in developing and promoting the EV market in the country. From launching the first lithium-ion based electric scooter in India, our products come with portable batteries which can be charged anywhere with a 5 ampere socket. Our network stands strong with over 700 sales and service outlets, widespread charging network and trained roadside mechanics on electric vehicles. It's the trust of over 4 lakh customers in India that makes our mission of zero emissions stronger than ever to electrify the nation and deliver our offering as per the customer's expectations. Thank you.
Let us put our hands together for Institute of Marketing and Management.
Hi, I'm Professor Smita Lal, the Dean of IMM. Thank you, Economic Times. It gives me great pleasure to accept the Economic Times Award Most Promising Brand for the Year 2021 on behalf of my institute, the Institute of Marketing and Management. IMM was established in the year 1969 by the legendary marketing and management guru, Dr. Jagjit Singh. Our signature postgraduate diploma in management is AICTE approved and is immensely popular among students and in the corporate world. The bachelor tie-up with an École Grande AACSB institution in France adds a feather to our cap in the 52nd year of our operations. In line with India's new education policy, our brand's personalized competency enhancements, upgraded pedagogy, out-of-the-box value adds, smart classrooms with hybrid delivery, all enrich and augment intrinsic quality of education. IMM is here to serve the youth, not only of our nation, but all over the globe.
Up next is Jana Small Finance Bank.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ajay Kanwal, MD and CEO at Jana Bank. It's an honor to receive the Economic Times Promising Brands for the year 2021. We are a young bank, and this prestigious award motivates us to keep going that extra mile for our banking clients. As someone wise said, don't count the years, but make the years count. I'm delighted to share that we have built a few core competencies which form the foundation of our future. First, as you'd expect, a highly digitized bank with full service banking working for the mass population of an aspirational India. For instance, 98% of our banking transactions are digital. So our tellers in the branches are truly service ambassadors and not transactors. 92% of our savings accounts are opened digitally. Honestly said, we work and think like a fintech within the regulatory guidelines of a scheduled commercial bank. MSMEs contribute 30% of Indian GDP. This has to reach 40 to 50% mark for our 5 trillion economy ambition. We have dedicated ourselves to serve this segment through multiple approaches spanning from risk models, distribution and collaboration. Our third and very important focus, which is every family's dream, to own their own home. We are focused on the affordable housing segment, which I must tell you is truly large in its demand, though the loan amounts are small. Again, here we work with very specific products which cater to this segment and make sure that we can at best fulfill each family's demand. Finally, I would like to thank our customers and our employees, because without them, we would not be a solid bank and certainly not be available here for the award. Especially I must thank the employees, the 17,000 strong, across our 670 branches in 23 states, who have really done a stellar job, truly a warrior during COVID. Thank you so much, and thank you, Economic Times.
Our best wishes to the entire team of Kia India.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hardeep Singh Brar, Vice President and Head of Sales and Marketing, Kia India. We are extremely honored to be felicitated as the Promising Brand of India 2021. From being an unknown brand just 3 years back to this recognition, we have surely come a long way, and it is indeed a moment of great pride for the entire Kia team. We are grateful to the Economic Times for this recognition, and I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our customers for the love and trust they have bestowed on us. It wouldn't have been possible without the relentless efforts of the entire Kia India family, including our dealer partners, making Kia such a successful and loved brand in such a short time. Over the past 2 years, Kia has been trying to revolutionize the auto segment with the new age vehicles and will continue to progress with this journey. Recognition such as this makes us want to push ourselves even harder. So thank you, Economic Times, for recognizing our efforts.
Let's put our hands together for Lendon Club.
Hi, I am Bhavin Patel, CEO and co-founder of Lendon Club. It's an immense pleasure for me to receive this award from Economic Times, and I am accepting this award on behalf of whole Lendon Club family. We dedicate this award to everyone who contributed to build this company and scale it up to this level. Today we have disbursed more than 1,000 crore worth of loan with more than 50% of market coverage in terms of P2P lending business. At this moment, we are also a community where more than 2 million borrowers as well as 7 lakh investors registered and transacting on our platform. We have been building innovative product under the platform of Lendon Club, we'll continue doing that. With this award, we believe that it has shown some more trust factor in the people who are building innovative financial product. So we believe our users will find this really helpful and good recognition from such a huge platform like Economic Times. We'll continue building innovative and good products in the financial services. Thank you, Economic Times, once again.
Taking the Walk of Fame next is Medika Bazaar.
Thank you for recognizing Medika Bazaar as the Economic Times Most Promising Brands 2021. In the last 18 months during the pandemic, Medika Bazaar has saved millions of lives. I think we are here to build a credible brand which will be admired and loved by our customers. We are encouraged, we are very happy with this recognition, and we certainly want to take it up to the next level of our growing opportunity to build Medika Bazaar, a great brand in Indian healthcare ecosystem. Thank you.
Many congratulations to Newberg Diagnostics. Let us now put our hands together for Odyssey Electric Vehicles.
Hi, I am Neman Vora, CEO and co-founder of Odyssey Electric Vehicles Private Limited. I would like to thank Economic Times for recognizing Odyssey EV as one of the most promising brands of 2021. Odyssey is identified as one of its kind 100% electric mobility platform that partners with world-leading EV part manufacturers, mobility technology experts, and unlocks the era of smart urban electric mobility for the consumer. We at Odyssey take pride in being able to launch India's first electric sports bike and a scooter with cruise control. The Odyssey EV scooters are the perfect match for the people who want to switch to zero carbon emission, with options ranging from economical e-scooters to a premium performance-oriented sports bike. The e-scooters from Odyssey are gender agnostic, with designs that can blend with anyone's lifestyle and offers last mile connectivity at minimal cost and zero emission. Offering our customers best product and prompt after sales service makes our brand trustworthy, dependable, and establishes a strong connect with the decision makers. Thank you.
Let us pass on our best wishes to Paul Merchants.
Hello everyone. Firstly, on behalf of my entire team at Paul Merchants, I would like to thank Economic Times for conferring Paul Merchants with prestigious award of the Economic Times Promising Brand 2021. Paul Merchant is one-stop shop for all financial services, and we have our branches spread across the country. Paul Merchants offers diverse financial services to cater to needs of our customer. At Paul Merchant, customer satisfaction is our brand priority, and we are committed to delivering the best of services to our customer. As the world is going digital, the group as a whole is working aggressively towards the digital transformation of its products and services. We are gearing to launch an end-to-end remittance portal with foreign exchange services, along with an online travel platform to offer multiple travel services like ticketing, holiday packages, hotel bookings. Our digital wallet Paul Pay has recently launched Rupee prepaid card with both physical and virtual variants. As we continue our journey towards service excellence, I would like to extend my gratitude to our esteemed customers, employees, partners, and our well-wishers who have supported us in the journey and made Paul Merchants a one-stop for all financial services. Thank you.
Let us now welcome the entire team of Planet Marathi Seller Services.
Hi, my name is Akshay Bardapurkar and I'm the founder and head of Planet Marathi. We began in 2017 as India's first premier digital platform. Thereon we moved to our production. We produced about 4 films and now we just launched world's first Marathi OTT meant exclusively for Marathi audiences. The journey has been fantastic. And I would like to thank the Economic Times for recognizing Planet Marathi as one of the promising brands of India. Thanks.
A round of applause for Platinum Supremo Cement.
It doesn't matter how many times you win an award. It is always very special. I'm greatly honored for our young brand, Platinum Supremo Cement, being recognized as the Economic Times Most Promising Brand for 2021. This award is proof of our committed and capable team of professionals who are working passionately in delivering a brand, a product for changing needs of the consumers. With the 5 superior pillars for a long-lasting route, that is strength, fitness, bonding, servicing and packing, today Platinum Supremo Cement has embossed itself in the construction world for the superior performance and services. I once again thank the organizers at Economic Times for conferring the Economic Times Most Promising Brand 2021 award on the brand Platinum Supremo Cement. I dedicate this award to the employees, business partners and the network for their effort and hard work for this grand recognition. Namaskar.
We now bring to you Quest Corp.
On behalf of almost 400,000 customer sales agents, service reps, BPO employees, janitors, security guards, TV repairmen, I would like to thank ET for this recognition. We at Quest aspire to build a tomorrow for India's young, skilled labor that helps them become more productive, more efficient, and deliver better quality service to our customers. And we do this by providing superior training and by technology enablement, be it through apps such as QJobs and Monster, or through workforce enablement, or by better tooling and technologies. An award like this and a recognition like this only is a shot in the arm to make us try even harder to build a better future, both to deliver productive services, high productivity services for our customers, and a better experience for our employees and our associates. I'd like to thank you again for this award.
Let's hear it up for Quikr.
Hello everyone, Prakash Narayan, Managing Director of Quikr. First of all, we would like to thank Economic Times for this most prestigious recognition as one among the top 25 brands of 2021. It's a great honor indeed, and we are quite humbled. Quikr started off in 2019 and soon found its way up as most trusted delivery service. Today, we are present in 17 cities across South India. Businesses from different sectors partner with us as we facilitate hassle-free and reliable delivery service. This helps them focus on their core business by handling more orders, more business, more e-commerce businesses. Our motivation to keep the customers happy, a people-centric work culture, and our commitment to deliver the promise, everything has made us cross this milestone. As we are expanding, we consider this as a first stepping stone for more esteemed recognition in our journey ahead. Thank you.
May I now request all of you to please put your hands together for Samunati.
Hello, Namaskar. I am Anil Kumar, the founder and CEO of Samunati. We sincerely thank Economic Times for recognizing Samunati as one of the promising brands. Recognition like this from a prestigious name like the Economic Times gives us a lot of motivation and encouragement to pursue our vision to make markets work for smallholder farmers. Samunati, as the name suggests, stands for collective growth, collective prosperity and collective elevation, with focus entirely on the agriculture and smallholder farmers. In our short journey of about 6 years, we are privileged to have worked with a large number of farmer producer organizations and enterprises in providing both customized financial services as well as market linkages while building the institution capabilities of the farmer collectives. We have recently crossed a gross transaction value of $1 billion, and that is a milestone that we are privileged to have crossed thanks to all our stakeholders. We look forward to be part of this journey and to make markets work for smallholder farmers. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.
Applause is in the house for Shiprocket.
Hi, my name is Akshay Gulati. I'm one of the co-founders at Shiprocket. I want to say a huge thank you to Economic Times for recognizing Shiprocket as one of the promising brands of 2021. Economic Times is a household name in India and a globally well-recognized publication, so it's a huge honor for us. Shiprocket is a vision and a dream that we as founders had 6 years ago to democratize e-commerce and change the life of SMEs selling online. And it's a huge testament to the hard work that the entire team at Shiprocket has put in over the last 6 to 7 years to be able to be recognized today by publications such as the Economic Times. So thank you so much.
Our best wishes to the entire team of Smoke Lab Vodka.
Hi, I'm Varun Jain, founder and CEO of Smoke Lab Vodka. I would like to thank Economic Times for recognizing us for the most promising brand of 2021. We have two variants. One is classic, one is aniseed. Why we did an aniseed out of all was to get the Indian palate recognized globally. Our vodka is made by basmati rice. The water source is Himalayan, which is through the stream. And we are very particular about our quality and we are maintaining it. And we would like Indians per se want to showcase quality product to the world because we can. And there are other brands out which are brilliant. They're doing great. They are all quality, but nobody got into the space of vodka. So we had the vacuum and we had the thought and the vision to do it, and we did it. Currently, we are available in the US, Singapore, and we are opening UAE, Canada, Australia, Hong Kong soon. Surprisingly, our response is better in the US because they've not, again, coming back to aniseed, they haven't tried a product like that. I would like to thank Economic Times again for recognizing us and among the other epic brands which are out there. Thank you so much.
Yet another Economic Times promising brand 2021, Zivame.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khadija and I head brand marketing at Zivame. We are honored to be facilitated with the ET Promising Brands 2021. We're grateful to the Economic Times for the appreciation we've received for our work. And I would like to extend my gratitude to the entire Zivame team, to our stakeholders and our partners, and of course our consumers for making Zivame India's preferred intimate wear destination.
Let's hear it up for Canfin Homes.
Canfin Homes is a mid-sized housing finance company with market cap of around 9,000 crores, with book size of over 20,000 crores. If you look at the outlook, economic activity is picking up, property prices are at the lowest, interest rates are at the bottom, and demand is robust, market is large enough. So we look forward to grow at about 18-20% for next 3 to 4 years time.
Canfin Homes is known for its asset quality. We are having lowest NPA among all HFCs. Coming to the liquidity position, we have got a very good liquidity position, and in coming days this liquidity will be used to fuel the growth of the company.
Canfin has rendered dedicated service in the housing finance arena for more than 34 years. Our unique branch model aids both business and collections. We have been growing steadily and consistently with a strong DSA franchise as a constant source of support.
Our endeavor is to improve yield, maintain low finance cost with high liquidity, which increase profitability and stakeholders' wealth.
I can proudly say that we have a good corporate governance system. We follow law and our obligations in letter and spirit. Our board considers best interest of our stakeholders and we believe in transparency and disclosure.
We thank ETH for recognizing Canfin Homes.
Thank you so very much. And let us now put our hands together for Marwari Financial Services. Virtual applauses.
Hi everyone, I am Keval Bhanushali, CEO Marwari Financial Services Limited. I am honored to accept this award on behalf of the entire Marwari Financial Services team, and I extend my gratitude to Economic Times for recognizing Marwari Financial Services as the most promising brand of 2021. Since 3 decades, Marwari Group has been committed to its goal of financial inclusion and wealth creation for every Indian across the country. We would like to assure everyone that we are committed to this goal by extending our offerings of personal finance through our extensive 600 plus branches and 1500 plus employees across India. It is a proud moment for us as we go from a dominant regional player in Gujarat to a national player and extend our services to every customer. I once again thank the entire team at Economic Times and express my gratitude for this recognition. Thank you.
Our best wishes to all the brands that have made it to the listing of the Economic Times Promising Brands Coffee Table book, as we feature stories of the most promising brands of 2021 and really highlight the promise of growth. We'd like to wish you and your teams the very best as you continue on this journey of growth. Once again, I'd like to thank our audience for being such a spectacular part of the Economic Times Promising Brands 2021. Thank you once again for joining us. On behalf of the entire team of ET Edge Unwired, this is Isha Bhalla signing off.